didn't quit. You're really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family has done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Good evening. I know I've been away. I told you all that I didn't have that much time. So you voted for the Summer Walker video. That's what you voted for. So I provided. So I had to wait until I got back from Dallas to do this live. I was spending time with family and I had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully, well, I don't like to say Thanksgiving. I had a great quality time with the family. How did you spend your quality time? So maybe you did it with friends. Maybe you did a little cute little thanks or Friendsgiving. Maybe you spend it by yourself because you're protecting your peace. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I've done that a few times. So yeah, that's where I've been, y'all. I do apologize. This video, I do feel like I'm behind, but people are like, still talk about it, even if you talk about it when you come back. Okay, so here I am. We're going to do a deep dive. I have my timestamps. I have my notes. My notes, they're thick. So everyone is talking about this sensationalized story time that went viral on TikTok titled Danish Deception. In my opinion, I titled it Danish Dummy. And I just want to get into some things. We're going to get into some things. So if you're unaware of this story, it's a woman that went viral on TikTok. She gave a story time, and you know, we're not unfamiliar with story times. It's the reason why this video took forever because I'm like, we doing another story time? But this one was worse than Risa Tisa. So if you watch the Risa Tisa, what was that, a 50-part series? Girl, this is worse. So the Danish Deception is a viral 2025 TikTok series where a woman reveals how her Danish husband built their entire relationship on lies, fake wealth, fake identity, fake business deals. Let's just call the relationship fake. Let's just call the marriage fake. All while convincing her to give him more than $30,000 for investments that never existed. When the truth unraveled and the marriage collapsed, she exposed the emotional manipulation, financial abuse, and deception in a multi-part story time that shocked TikTok and many people, honestly, because I've seen a few write-ups about this on the blogs, but even just on the web in general. This is crazy. So, and it turned her experience into a cautionary tale about trust, love bombing, and international romance scams. Interesting. So let's get into the details. They first met in 2022 during a trip to Europe. She talks about how there was an instant chemistry and a strong attraction. They quickly began talking, traveling together. He also mentioned through the Instagram DMs that he had a royal title. Casually took luxury trips to Monaco and the Canes within a few weeks. Not within a few weeks. Within a few months of meeting, they got married. I believe it was 4 to be exact. They got married in a small courthouse ceremony. They announced their engagement in April of 2024, but let me explain that. They got married and then they wanted a wedding. So then he proposed to her the proper way. And that took place in 2024, in April of 2024, which was very freaking recent. So they got married on a whim. They eloped. And then that was within 4 months. Then time went by, and this girl, and when we get into the details, it's like, okay, time went by, and you still wanted to go through with this public coming together. I didn't understand that, but we'll get into that. So they announced their engagement in April 2024. Overall, the relationship lasted 3 years. 3 years too damn long for me. Okay, so let's get into some things. I'm seeing black women drag this woman, and I understand why. I do. You are upset because it gave anti-blackness. Let's just call it out. When I say, oh, black women should open up their options, they should interracially date. This is not what I'm talking about. This is not it. This is not what I'm talking about. And I feel like I need to make myself clear. So let's discuss, because this is a deeper dive, the imperialism that took place throughout the story time. And I feel like that's what black women are really upset about. I feel like that's why black women are giving her such a hard time. And so within the story time, the imperialism that took place was astonishing. Honestly, she was able to deceive her entire family. And let's talk about this a little bit, because honestly, I've never witnessed this before. I've heard about it. I've heard about it in the spaces of the diaspora wars, but I've never actually seen it, and I've never been shown a example until the story time. And I'm like, "Ooh, girl, this is what they be talking about." So what we witnessed was imperialism and economic domination biases. It showed throughout her entire story time, and I believe that this is the reason why black women are dragging her the way that they are. She's from Nigeria, and imperialism and the impact that it has on economic domination does create biases within people from that particular country and other countries as well. This is documented, this is psychological, this is socio-political as well. Just saying. And I believe that that's why the outcome was the outcome. So basically, what I'm saying is when a nation is colonized, like Nigeria, which was under the British rule, the colonizers imposed their language as superior, imposed their religion as the true faith, imposed their culture and customs as the civilized norm. They positioned themselves as smarter, more capable, and more advanced. So what does this mean? White equals power. White equals authority. White equals progress. White equals correctedness. White equals divine or chosen. So, and hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Oika. I hope I'm saying it right. The woman that went viral, she carries a colonial mentality and has internalized white supremacy. And this is why black women were upset. This is why black women were dragging her. This is why black women were giving her such a hard time, because that's what her story time gave. And I'm not gonna lie, I heard Rebecca, I heard Natalie, and I'm like, girl, where your black friends at? You ain't got one black friend. Because when that man went upstairs to your bedroom in your house and shut the door, and you said, oh, I guess I'm on the couch. You on the couch in your house that you pay bills for. That's crazy. Your name is on the deed, but you going upstairs to your house? I mean, you going downstairs in your home to sleep on the couch, and the man is upstairs in your bedroom with the door closed, stonewalling you? Girl, I would have called the police. But anyway, she also demonstrated her proximity to whiteness, which we all know that it gave like status, safety, and or opportunities. So that's why black women are dragging her. Now, do I agree? Not necessarily, but then I don't have trauma centered around this type of behavior. So I'm going to give grace to the woman that got taken advantage of by this man due to her colonized mentality and internalized racist or internalized white supremacy. I hope she's in therapy unpacking that. But I also give grace to the black women that are dragging her. Like, honestly, I don't know what black women have experienced that may have been on the receiving end of a woman like this. So I'm just going to give grace to both sides. But what I will say is it's 2025. There's so much information out here for you to get educated to deconstruct a mentality like that. So I understand why Black women are not giving her as much grace, because it's 2025. It's kind of like you should know better. But for whatever reason, she does not. But I mean, if once we get into this breakdown, she doesn't seem to be that smart. That's all she doesn't seem to be that smart. Also, we got accused, Black women got accused of victim blaming. And I believe the reason why she is mad at us is because we're not sugarcoating what happened. And I get it. On one hand, I understand where people are coming from. Like, oh, I do feel like people are victim shaming her. And I don't think people are really victim shaming her. I think people are pointing out her internalized white supremacy and colonized mindset and colonial mindset and mentality. Like, I think that's what people are really getting at. So when we talk about this situation, on one hand, I understand where the collective of Black women are coming from, but on another hand, I can understand too that's part of her conditioning and may have been her upbringing as well. Another thing that I want to point out, this seems to be like a family issue. It wasn't just, oh, she got scammed and that's it. This man was able to scam her entire family. So I feel like it's unfair to put all the heat on her. Like, you actually need to put the heat on the entire family, because how the hell that white man come up in your family and cause that much chaos financially? That is unacceptable to me. Also, the reason why I do see her as a victim, victims are not perfect. They're not. In the beginning, she was dumb and she was naive. When this man started to emotionally manipulate her, that's when I started to see her as a victim, because he was weaponizing her empathy and he was weaponizing her feeling sorry for him against her. And that's when I saw her as a victim. I did not see her as a victim when she was being delusional, when she was romanticizing and fantasizing them coming together. But when we get into the emotional abuse, she actually is a victim, y'all. Because even though this man was able to take her ass to the cleaners, he literally preyed on her empathy. And remember earlier this year, because this 2025 is my vindication year. And yes, I'm bringing it up again. 2025 is my vindication year. And I told you all, what did I say with the Charlie Kirk situation? I said that you need to have boundaries with your empathy, or you will be easily manipulated. You will be deceived. Instead, the girls, you know what I see women do? Whenever they hear a sob ass fucking story, it's empathy, 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 empathy. Oh my God, I need to give empathy. Oh my God. You don't even discern the situation to see if the person is even telling the truth. You don't even discern the situation to hear both sides of the story, three sides of the story, four sides of the story. You're just like, oh my God, empathy, 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 empathy. You have no balance. People can come in and swindle the fuck out of you because you're like, empathy, empathy, empathy. Discern first. Then if it's okay, because I don't know the situation. If the coast is clear, then you can give your empathy. But the way women just jump, empathy, 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 this is how people can easily take advantage of you. You need to step back. Let your emotions calm down a little bit. Maybe you're on a high. Maybe you got triggered. Maybe you're on an emotional high because you got triggered, or maybe this triggered like an insecurity or a traumatic experience, right? But still, this person may not be truthful. They may not be telling the entire story. You need to take a step back, all right? And you need to evaluate the situation to see, is it truly safe for me to give empathy when it comes to this situation? Because I mean, someone can kidnap you. Someone can really take advantage of you and bring harm not only to you, but clearly your whole family, your friends. Hell, if you have kids, I need women to slow down, and you need to learn how to emotionally regulate before you just jump right into empathy, because you may be manipulated. You may be in the process of being manipulated, where someone is trying to take advantage of you. Okay. And a lot of times when people are trying to do this, they try to isolate you. They try to get you away from other people that could chime in and say, that don't sound right. You know, little things like that. Take a step back. Okay. People can rob you blind, bro, especially in 2025. Be careful with that. Okay. Let's get into the timestamps. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Hold on. What is this? Okay. Hold on. Let me switch it. So I got my timestamps. We got to start here because we have to start where they met. Because she had me messed up when they met. Girl, I was only 6 minutes in and I said, oh my God. She's romanticizing this man and she don't even know this man. This 6 minutes in, I'm like, this man is a stranger. Like, what are we talking about? This man is a complete stranger to you. Why are we jumping the gun? And listen, fast-tracked romance is very dangerous. And the reason why fast-tracked romance is so dangerous is because you can't deeply vet. You're bypassing the time that it takes to deeply vet someone. You didn't even give yourself a chance. Oh, don't play with me. Not today.
That mix.
This is crazy. Hold on. Let me.
We're sitting there having a wonderful dinner and drinking tons of wine, and I come up with this idea to play this game where I'm asking his best friend to describe what my ex's type was, and because we were obviously like vibing with each other, and I was just curious. And so his best friend
No, we are not listening to the whole thing. We are going to be skipping around. Listen, I have timestamps.
starts listing off everything like good morals, hard worker, all these things, and like I felt like he was describing me. And after his friend was done talking, my best friend basically said, you know, aside from being a good cook, she checks off every single box. And I remember I looked at him, my ex, and I said, but I will become a great cook for a good man. And he starts laughing. I remember I put my hand on his leg, and that was the first time in my life that I felt that instant electricity from someone's touch. Like it literally felt like I was getting shocked. And we instantly like had this physical attraction towards each other. And we started talking about what we did for work. And I told him that I was working as a real estate agent and in tech. And then
This was childish to me, and I'm really trying to teach the girls at this point not to be childish. It's childish because you are a grown woman. Chemistry should not be this thing that you rely on when it comes to you making good choices and decisions over your life. That's some shit that you grow out of by the time you reach a certain age. And the reason is because you're a grown woman now and your desires should change, like truly slowing down, getting to know someone to ensure that they don't come in and destroy the life that you built for yourself. Honestly, because the wrong relationship could literally destroy your life. So she's in this little girl mindset of fantasizing and romanticizing them meeting, them coming together as if this is some rom-com. And she thinks that she's met this Prince Charming that's just gonna sweep her off her feet. That's childish. I need women to understand that that's childish. Do you not understand that it was on the news, I believe in November, that they're blaming the fact that there are not enough rom-com TV shows and movies that are centered around like falling in love and things like that. They're blaming the fact that there are not that many movies and shows on the I think the statistics are down for marriage for young women. Like the I don't know what the statistics are, so don't quote me. But the statistics are down for marriage. Like there are more young women that don't want to get married than there are women that do. There are more young men that do want to get married than there are women. And they're blaming the lack of rom-coms and TV shows that centered around women in the girl meets guy meets girl, they fall head over heels in love, and they're literally blaming the fact that there are not enough movies and shows like that out. And it's brainwashing. It is 2025, ladies. It's brainwashing. They're saying that there are too many shows of women being independent in their careers, living single, and having a fulfilled life outside of a man and marriage. So you meeting a guy and you're instantly like, oh, I've never touched someone. It's just childish. It's childish. It's childish. I mean, honestly, you can have chemistry with a complete stranger. That doesn't mean that you should like them instantly. It means that, okay, there's some chemistry there. Okay, let's see what this man has to offer. Not, oh, I should just let my guards down and this is meant to be. That's not real. That's a movie. That is a fantasy. You're romanticizing. And she romanticized this so bad to the point where this is where I think people lost empathy for her, because this was the introduction before we get into the emotional manipulation where she was a true victim. This is the part that people can't get past within her story time, because it gave, you're naive, you're childish, you're dumb, you're stupid. Like, this is actually very dangerous. You don't know this man. This is a stranger. People could not get past this part. And I understand why. Because, girl, she was just so head over heels meeting this guy. And I'm like, this man is a stranger to you. You do not know this man like that.
He told me, I'm actually chief commercial officer for a ad tech company that does marketing for real estate companies. So I was working in real estate and tech, and he was working in real estate and tech, and everything just like felt like it was aligning. But again, I'm like, this guy lives in Copenhagen. There's nothing that's going to come from this. So after dinner, we go. Whenever he
And I need girls to also understand that a man can listen to you, study you, observe you, and then they can mirror you instantly. So be careful about that. Be careful. I'm like, oh, we have so much in common. He could be lying about that. He could just be mirroring whatever you tell him back to you to create that chemistry, to create that connection. It could be complete bullshit. Be careful about that.
made that comment to me in the DM, I was like, okay, sure. I'm not thinking anything of it, right? At this point.
And then she's being love bombed for free. This man is not buying anything. I always tell you that if you're gonna be love bombed, get something out of it. Make him really love bomb you, like at the mall. I mean, you might as well, girl. If he gonna love bomb you, make it worth your while, shit. And in the beginning, men are gentlemen. They like to pull out the red carpet. Okay, well, pull that red carpet all the way out. Take me to the mall. Take me somewhere where if this love bombing comes to an end, I got some shit out of it, because I hate when men do that. They just love bomb you to waste your time. At least I came up off something. You get what I'm saying? But she was just falling for the love bombing. I'm like, girl, you just met this man. Of course he's gonna tell you sweet nothings, because that butters you up. He knows that. And it makes it easier to let when you get buttered up, you let your defenses down, and then men can come in and easily manipulate because you've let your defenses down. He's love bombing you. He's charming you. Charming is manipulative as well. So whenever I hear women say things like, oh, but he was so charming, the only thing I hear was he was manipulative.
Whatever, like, this guy lives 5,000 miles away from me. I'm not thinking anything of it. So the next day, my friend goes back to Germany, and I go to Barcelona to meet up with some friends. And again, I'm like posting throughout my trip, and every time I look at my phone, it's like he's DMing me, messaging me, and he's continuing all of this. And I'm just a little bit shocked, but also like very interested still at the same time. And he was remembering things that I told him at dinner. Like, I had told him that I was going to buy a Chanel bag because I wanted to reward myself for working hard. And he had messaged me and been like, hey, did you get your Chanel bag? And I was literally like drunk off sangrias in my bikini and cover up in the Chanel store when I got that DM. And I sent him a selfie, and he said, this is the best photo I've ever seen. And I just like felt like I could just be myself with him already. And we were just getting along and having good conversation. So again, he doesn't even have.
Ladies, be careful about the men that are just pouring you and showering you down with compliments. Be careful about that.
My phone number at this point. We were literally just flirting through DMs. So I ended up leaving Barcelona the next day, and I land, and he sends me a message, and he said, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to go to Ibiza? And I saw the message, and I was like, what? And we will continue in part 2. The Danish Deception, part 2. Okay. So he sent me this message saying, you should come to Ibiza this weekend. I'm going to have such a great example with my parents. And
And then the next thing that I want to talk about is she lied about the ex. And I don't know why she didn't pick up on that. Maybe it was her lack of experience with men, because she kind of came across like this was her first real relationship. She kind of came across like she was sheltered. She did come from a Nigerian household, and I know Nigerian parents can be strict strict AF. So maybe she really lacked the experience that, okay, you're dealing with a man that just broke up with his ex about 4 months ago, and you're not thinking that maybe they still have some unresolved things at minimum. I mean, we later find out that they were together, and I kind of figured that he was still living with her. That's just me knowing how men operate. So I just didn't understand why she didn't investigate that or vet that more. She just never really asked. She just went along with every little thing that this man said. She never questioned him and put pressure on him to really vet him in any type of way. Like, she just went along with every little thing. And again, it could be because he's white. So I'm just going to say it. It could be. It could be because he's white. All right. And I warned Black women about this. I've said this on so many occasions that you are a Black woman. Your dating life is hard, it's complicated, and it's because you're Black. So you have to always be, you just always have to have your own back. Always. It doesn't matter who you pick to be in community with, who you pick to be in a relationship with, who you pick to break bread with as family. Like, you always just have to be concerned. Like, you just do. That's just our experience. That's our reality. And you may even have to be careful when it comes to other Black women. I've said this. So it's not just a white man thing, it's a everybody thing. And I need you to get on program with that, because that's the only way you can truly protect yourself. So you just always have to vet people, and you have to pay attention to their behaviors. Their behaviors are routine, their behaviors are rituals, their behaviors are patterns, but you need to slow down to see them clearly. If you're rushing through everything, you're not seeing who they are, because you're not giving yourself the time and the space to really see them. So just slow down about that. And I knew he lied. I knew, but when she was telling the story, that he still most likely lived with his ex, because 4 months is very fresh and it's very recent. And just knowing how men are, they could still live with her. I mean, there's so many different possibilities that I would have considered, which would in point make me question him further about the ex, since he wanted to talk about it and bring it up. So let's continue.
I really want to have like an amazing love in this lifetime, and so I'm going to take my time to find that. And I asked him, like, what's your history with your dating? And he was like, yeah, well, I actually was in a relationship with a girl, and we were together for about 4 years, and I actually broke up with her about 4 months before I met you. And I said, oh my gosh, like, the 4 years is a long time. He said, yeah, like, it needed to happen for a while. And really what happened was that she told him that she was ready to have kids, and he wasn't ready to have kids. And I guess that forced him to realize that she wasn't the one, and they were living together. So it was like a really hard situation to get out of, but he finally was able to do so. And so I was happy to hear that had been about 4 months since they broke up, because if he had said like they had
You know, one thing about good liars, and I do believe that this man was a narcissist, which is another reason why I see her as a victim, because narcissists are a trip. If you've never been in a relationship with a narcissist, I don't expect for you to fully understand, and maybe you still don't see her as a victim, and that's your choice. But when we look at it from a psychological standpoint, she is a victim and she was victimized. And one thing that I know about narcissists, I've learned what makes a good liar through a narcissist. Narcissists will give you 20% lie, 80% truth, or they'll give you 50% lie and then 50% truth. That's what makes them a good liar. They tell you just enough, but not the full truth or the full story, which is what makes them a good liar. So I do believe how they separated was due to him not like having the gambling issue, being a gambler addict, and her being ready for children and knowing that he's not the man that she can have children with because of his addiction. So he told her, I say 20% truth and an 80% lie this time. And they don't really just tell the full, like, they don't just lie about everything. They lie about little different things, and you have to kind of weed it out. So I do believe that she did leave him because she wanted to have kids, and she knew that because he had an addiction that she couldn't, it wouldn't be smart for her to settle down with him and have kids. Like, he just wasn't stable at all. He was, if anything, if she had a child with him, it would create instability for her financially. So she just knew better. She knew that this needed to end. And that's another part. They both knew that it needed to end, and that's the truth. But then the surrounding events that led up to why she made this decision is a lie. You see what I'm saying? So be careful about that. That's what makes good liars. And honestly, me being in a narcissistic relationship was how I was able to spot a good liar and how to spot lies, because that's just how they do. It's either 50 to 80%. They'll tell you some truth or they'll tell you a lie, and just flip the percentages depending on the situation and how bad it is.
Had just broken up, I would have been a little bit more hesitant to pursue things, because I know, like, you go through a breakup, you need time to heal, but I felt like, okay, 4 months should be enough time. And then we started talking about, like, our families a little bit too. I told him I'm super close with my family. He said I'm really close with my mom and my little sister. I do have an older sister that I don't talk to, and basically something happened, and she was like being like physically abusive towards his mom, and he decided to cut her out of his life because she's crazy. And I said, listen, I get that makes sense, like, you should not have her in your life. And I think just like,
and another thing that was kind of hard, and what I'm pretty sure a lot of people struggled with when it came to her story time, is she didn't consider any other story. Like, she wasn't objective to the things that this man was telling her. She was just in agreement and agreement and agreement and agreement. And I need women to be more objective to the things that men say. I mean, and to me, that's being difficult within good reason, because you're vetting, right? So you're being objective. And it's like, well, is your sister really verbally abusive? Or it's like you guys are just not good communicators. Being objective within good reason is just being intelligent. It's being able to see the duality and the nuance in complex situations, like having a relationship with a sibling, and she's the older sister and you're the younger sibling, so it's like, try to be objective sometimes. Like, don't just always be in agreement to just go along with every little thing, because you never know. There could be some truth to it, which there was. And the older sister had every right to be upset because he was an addict. And I'm pretty sure she's fell for his games and his manipulation as well. And it just all came down. It all just got to a point eventually, where he ruined that relationship with his sister. So question more, be objective a little bit more. And then she said that she fell in love with this man, but this is when I knew that this man was full of shit. You fell in love with this man, but you couldn't FaceTime him. You couldn't FaceTime him because he was still with that woman. He was still living with that other woman. And see, that's the thing that I'm like, why did that not click? It must be because she truly lacks experience. Because I'm like, okay, this man broke up with his ex 4 months ago. You can't even FaceTime him. You fell in love with him over the phone without FaceTime. So that means you were fantasizing or romanticizing the situation like you were reading a rom-com book. And he was able to swindle you because you never tested the boundaries. You never objective to the rules that he set or the standards that he created for you. And of course, people can set a boundary, but you can be like, that's not going to work for me, and negotiate, But she didn't do any of that. She just went along with everything.
in your life. And I think just like over the course of a month, we're talking on the phone for just hours. And I tell people all the time that it felt like we fell in love over the phone, because from the time that I had decided to go to Monaco to the time that I actually left for Monaco, it was a month. And we had this plan that we weren't going to FaceTime at all, because we wanted the next time we saw each other to be in person, which I thought at the time was super romantic. And so, we started talking about like hypothetical.
Baby, my bullshit antennas would have been going off. Woo! Like the alarms. Girl, I can't FaceTime him. What the hell? That's crazy. I ain't buying that. The hell?
So we are getting closer and closer to the trip to Monaco, and I start packing,
And then I want to point out how she was just so trusting of a stranger. Like, she was just so trusting of a stranger.
I feel like that's like when the nerves start hitting me, was when I'm packing, like, oh my goodness, this is actually happening. And I remember my sister was like, you need to put air tags in like all your bags. And I'm like, I don't need to put air tags in anything. Like, I trust this man. Like, I know like it's gonna be okay. Like, every part of me felt like so safe with him already, which was crazy because I hadn't really spent much time with him. Maybe this is trauma from being on The Bachelor, I'm not sure. But I felt very safe with him. And so the day comes where I'm supposed to go on the trip. And so I order my Uber, I get to the airport.
And see, this why everybody questioning, like, girl, did you trust this man so blindly because he was white? Because what gave you could trust him? You don't know this man. I need to reiterate that. This man is a complete stranger. Stranger danger. Did your parents not teach you that? Like, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I am really concerned. And listen, I heard the word on the street was that she was in them toxic interracial groups on Facebook. I don't know how true that is, but I heard she was in them spaces, and them spaces are toxic. They're extreme. They are extreme. Everyone must be vetted. Just because he's white does not mean he's innocent. I tried to tell y'all that. Don't put no white men on the savior. I mean, on a pedestal to be a savior. Put yourself up there. You can save yourself. Hell, you had to get your ass out of this situation. You had to go up against toe to toe with that man. Why don't y'all put yourselves on a pedestal? Why are y'all putting men's on a pedestal? Because if the shit go fucking south, who you think gonna save you? You, sis. So go ahead, just cut through the bullshit, put yourself up there, and call it a day. Because she eventually, and we'll get to it towards the end, she eventually had to put herself on a pedestal and fight back against the white savior that was supposed to come in and save her ass. It's crazy. So just go ahead and put yourself up there. Go ahead, and then you'll have better foresight so you can see. You know what I'm saying? But if you're looking for a savior, girl, oh my God, anybody could come in and just completely fuck you over. You need to go ahead and put yourself up there. And I'm telling you, you can see things better. You can see things clearly when you put yourself on that pedestal. Okay. So let's continue. I heard, like I said, I don't know how true it is if she was in these toxic interracial groups that are out here, and y'all know what I'm talking about, so don't even come at me sideways, but we've seen them. And like I said, it's just extreme. That's all. And when you have an extremist outlook and mindset and approach to life, you will always lose. Look around. This is the matrix. When you take an extremist route, you will always lose. And the reason you lose in the game of life by being an extremist is because life is always about balance. It's always about balance. It's situational. There's a rhythm, there's a frequency, there is just a balance to it. And when you go extreme, you typically lose that way. So bring it back in, balance it out. You're going to be yes on this, no on that. No on this and yes on that. That's just life. Be situational. But as soon as you become extreme, ooh, girl, you may be doing yourself in. You can't even say this man played you. You can't say he played you. Another thing too, when they met in person after months, they had instant affection and they slept together. I knew that when she slept with this man, she was really gone. Because one thing women need to understand, and this is just part of being a grown woman and knowing yourself and not being a little girl and getting out of the little girl mentality because you're a grown woman now, is you have to understand that typically when you sleep with that man, you become emotionally involved and you tend to lose sight of things clearly. And you have to make sure that it's safe first. Okay. Like you have to make sure. I know, people have 90-day rules and all of that. Honestly, I don't know how long it's going to take, but you need to make sure before you sleep with this man, because typically you don't have the best judgment afterwards because you're now emotionally invested. You're emotionally involved. Your body is involved. And so things tend to be not as clear as they were before you slept with the man. So slow down. Don't be fast tracked when it comes to romance and relationships and dating and things like that, because it may create confusion in your mind or it may create blindness as well. Like you may develop a biases regarding this man because now you gave your body away and your emotions away. You gave everything, your sexual energy. And so now you are caught up. And now you're probably not going to make the best decisions if you would have held off on it. Maybe you're not going to make the best judgment if you would have held off on it. All I'm saying is slow down. I'm not saying that you got to wait until marriage or anything like that. I'm saying slow down. That's all I'm saying. So she met this man. They met up in the airport. She visited him And they slept together the first night that she got there. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So she really gonna her and the reason I'm saying this is because typically when you give your sexual energy away, you tend to put your head in the clouds and you tend to be very green, right? Like you're romanticizing the entire experience, and it's that dopamine. It's so it clouds your judgment. Like seriously, slow down, really take a step back. And you should have this experience by now. Like if you've ever uh, exercised sexual discipline, and you exercise the sexual discipline where maybe you just, I don't know, maybe you just disengage in casual sex, or maybe you took a step back from a sneaky link, or maybe you exercise some type of abstinence. And so when you exercise that, you saw the clarity that you got from taking a step back. So carry that into whatever new experience that you may find yourself in, and just slow down with that. Okay. So she slept with him fairly quick. I mean, all of this happened within a span of just a few months. She fell in love with the love bombing. I don't think she understands that. Like she fell in love with what she thought, or she fell in love with who she thought he was and what she thought he had. And she fell in love quickly. And she fell in love with the idea of who she thought he was and not who he really was. And I see a lot of women do that.
Embarrassing because all the workers are all thinking that I'm getting dumped right now when I'm really just falling in love for the first time and like don't know how to control my emotions. And I remember just like bawling my eyes out, being like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what this feeling is. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, and he's just sitting there smiling, and he's like, this is like one of the best nights of my life. And he looked at me and goes, I want to say it back to you, but I also want to have my own special moment, so I'm not going to do it right now. And I said, thank you, God, because I would not want you to tell me right now. And honestly, never in a million years did I think that I would say I love you first to him, but he pulled it out of me and I felt it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to say it. And I did. And it felt so good. And I remember we went back to the hotel that night, got some sleep, and the next morning we went to the Bagatelle and we had just like a beach day. And I used to tell everyone that this was the best day of my life because we spent the whole day just swimming and laughing.
I think another thing that's really throwing people off, y'all see how happy she is telling this story? She still thinks that what they had was real to a certain degree. I'm like, this man, when he saw you, he saw a lick. He saw a sucker. He's like, oh, I'm about to get a lick out of her. That's all he saw. Um, I don't think she's reached the level within her healing journey with where all of it was a lie. I don't think she has really mentally, psychologically have, I don't think she's accepted that yet. Am I the only one that thinks that she hasn't accepted? She's just too giddy. Because when I think of my narcissistic relationship and all the love bombing and bullshit, I get mad. I'm like wasting my, just wasting my time. But she's like happy and still thinking about how it was just so wonderful and it was so amazing. Like she's probably thinking that, oh, if only we could get back to that. But it's like nothing, none of it was real, lady. He conned you. This man was a scammer. His personality, he faked it. His life, he faked it. The happy times with you, he faked it. Everything he did was just fake. It was performative. He should get an Oscar. So I don't think she's came to that conclusion that all of this was fake. Like, even when he was being vulnerable with her, even when he did tell her that he loved her, all of that shit was fake. This is a relationship scammer.
You give me respect and loyalty, I will give you the world. And I told him I can do that.
And then she set the bar in hell, and she set the bar low financially. So, and let me just explain, because she talks about it. This is when she really fucked up, because she set the bar financially and she set the bar very low.
Told him, there's a few things you should know. Number one, your money is great, but it's the cherry on top of a great sundae. You could lose it all tomorrow and I would not go anywhere. Like, the money is just like this little added benefit, but I love you for you. I'm here for who you are as a person, not the money. Also, cheating is 100% a deal breaker for me. I just feel like I always need to like put that out there. I don't care if you've been married for 15 years with 4 kids. I will leave. I will not.
And we're going to get into how this woman really struggles with her self-worth. She struggles with believing that she is worthy of a man fully taking care of her. And so she always felt the need to prove that she wasn't here for this and she wasn't here for that. And it's like, a man being financially stable is just a basic standard. Like, honestly, I need to be financially stable. You need to be financially stable. Adults need to be financially stable, especially when you're out here dating. Everyone needs to be financially stable. You shouldn't be on the dating scene and you're not financially stable. So just be careful about that. Like, she set the bar really low financially. And so because she did that, he knew that he was going to be able to take advantage of her with that as well. And listen, ladies, low standards means low quality experiences. Say it with me. Low standards means low quality experiences. So if you keep having low quality experiences, it's most likely your standards. And you need to do some shadow work about that. Why do you set the bar so low and then get mad at the low quality experiences that you're having? And you need to unpack that. Why do you not feel worthy about being treated a certain type of way? And we need to work on that. Like, honestly, and I don't know what it is for her. It seems like she's always trying to prove herself to be worthy, and it's like she doesn't carry the confidence to know that she is, because if she knew, then she wouldn't be setting the bar so low financially for him. And I think that's what also played her as well.
With cheating. And also, my family is my world. I'm a warrior for my family and friends. And please don't ever put.
Also, her spirit warned her and she ignored it. And I also want to say this, she allowed a stranger within 4 months, okay? She allowed a stranger within 4 months to come in and override her inner voice, override her intuition. That was the saddest part about this story time. She met this man, and within 4 months, he was able to overtake her inner compass, her inner voice, her tuition. She allowed this man to just come in. And the reason why I'm saying this is, if you have to go against your inner voice, your inner compass, your inner guidance to believe a man, to believe anyone, that's not divinely, okay? That is not divinely at all. Okay, you may be out here dealing with a trickster or something like that. Because one thing that I know about God is that God is not going to send you someone that comes in and creates chaos, disrupts your peace, or anything like that. So when someone is coming in and they're overriding, like you can't hear your inner voice or you're confused, that's a red flag. And this is something that is deeply discerning. You know, this can't be a physical experience. It has to be a spiritual one. This is between two worlds with Yoni. So only you will know. And that's a lesson I had to learn. That was a very hard lesson too. I learned it very harshly. But I remember the day and I was like, never again will I ever allow anyone to come in and override my inner voice, my inner compass, my inner guidance, because I know that when that happens, when that confusion comes in, I can't hear myself clearly. I'm second guessing myself. Why am I second guessing myself? Something's not right here. Instantly, I'm going to know, because I'm never compromising my inner voice for someone else, my inner guidance for someone else. At that point, I'm being disconnected from God. Okay. And if you're religious, if you're spiritual, if you believe in a higher power, whatever the case may be, if someone comes into your life and they disconnect you from your inner voice, your inner guidance, your inner knowing, your inner compass, then there's something wrong with that. If someone comes in and it's divinely guided, it's divinely orchestrated, it's truly sent in by God, Father God, Mother God, then they're going to amplify that voice. They're going to amplify it, not silence it. Okay? They're going to amplify it, not confuse you. They're going to bring in more clarity, not confusion. So you're gonna have to slow down. Okay. And that's why I'm saying, are the girls talking to God or are they talking to their ego? Are you talking to God or are you talking to your ego? A lot of times women are talking to their ego. They're talking to this little girl that wants the status, not the grown woman that is truly being divinely guided by God. Like honestly. So slow down, okay? Because this is a Christian woman. This is another Christian woman that has gotten taken advantage of. And I do believe that her kindness was weaponized against her. Her empathy was weaponized against her. And of course, she was being naive too. But eh, all of those things were being weaponized against her. So slow down. Make sure that you are staying connected with your inner voice. If you are disconnecting yourself from your inner voice or you don't know what your intuition is saying, then something's not right. And if this especially occurs after you sleep with that man, that's another red flag. All right. And this is just the spiritual side of this conversation. All right. So if you have a spiritual relationship, if you have a relationship with God, then I'm talking to you. If you don't, I'm not talking to you. Okay. So let's move on. She also, oh yeah. So her spirit warned her. And how did her spirit warn her? She like passed out. She was having seizures. She was saying how she never had seizures before and how this is so unlike her. But she meets this man and she has a seizure. And I'm just like, and you normally don't. And she had been having seizures for the last like 5 or 10 minutes, something crazy like that. And your spirit will always warn you, and for your body to act like that, for your body to respond like that, that means it's very major. That means it's very serious. That means you really need to vet to see who this man is. Okay? Because seizures, and you normally don't have seizures, that would have brought up so many red flags for me personally. But again, I have the experience, or he could have, you think he drugged her? I thought about that too. He could have drugged her. He could have drugged her. But I think that that would have been brought up in the emergency room, like when she went to the doctors and they checked her out, or the emergency room nurse checked her out. So I don't know. But then again, I don't know the emergency room protocol and all of that. I don't know if they do here. Don't they do? I know they do automatic drug tests here in the US, but I don't know what it's like in other countries. But I just assume that that would have been brought up at the doctors. So who knows? Who knows? And you know what? The language barrier, that is so true. I didn't even consider that. So you know what? It really could go either way. It really could go anyway, either way. But that would have been a big sign. You don't suffer from seizures, but you're all of a sudden having them now with this man. That's crazy.
I'm like, epilepsy? No, I don't have any history of that. I was like, why? He said, because you've been having seizures for the past 10 minutes. And I was like, seizures? I have never, ever had a seizure in my life. So this was shocking news, but I also wasn't like all the way there. So I was just so confused at what was happening. And I remember touching my head and I looked at my hand and there was so much blood. And then I like started looking around and everything felt wet. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was going to the bathroom. So I look at him and I ask him, I'm like, is this pee? He's like, no, they just like dumped water on you. And I was like, okay. And so they basically told us that because the streets in Canada are so narrow, they couldn't bring an ambulance. It had to be a fire truck, which I didn't care. I just wanted to get to the hospital. So these firemen come and they get me up and I stand up, I look down, look at the puddle of water, then I smell my dress. I go, oh my gosh, this is urine. So you're telling me that I've been dating this man for 3 days and he is now sitting in a pool of my urine and my blood, watching me have seizures. I was just so, I couldn't believe that this was the reality of what was happening. I get into the truck and they take us to the hospital and I'm still freaking out at this point because I literally don't know if I have like a severe brain bleed or what's going on. And they take us into the waiting room and they're about to take us back. And I remember the nurse said that my ex couldn't go back with me because they still had super strict restrictions from COVID. So he had to wait in the waiting room. And I remember just freaking out because no one is speaking English at this point. And I don't know what to do. I'm so terrified. I feel
So to be honest, she probably don't know if she was drugged or not. This is crazy. This would have been such a major red flag for me. I would have been so scared because I'm like, I passed out on my way to the restroom, the ladies' room, and I'm having seizures that I normally don't have any other time. And I'm with this complete stranger out of the country. Like, I would have been freaking out. Like, I would have been freaking the hell out. So I don't know why her alarms weren't going off. I don't know why her alarms were not going off. Um, Maybe there's some trauma there. I don't know, but I can see it either way. Honestly, whether it was her spirit, divine intervention, the fact that he drugged her and she passed out. I mean, honestly, this could go either way. This could go either way. But I do find it suspicious that no one was speaking English, so she probably didn't know what was really going on with her. Okay, let's move on. Then, again, because I wanted to give you an example of she didn't believe that she was worthy of being taken care of. And I see this a lot with black women. Black women feel like they have to prove. And we need to work on that. So this is what she said.
I was in a place where I could insert my opinion. So I told him, like, whatever you think, I'll support you. And I also didn't know jack shit about real estate investments in Copenhagen. And also, I had just gone to the south of France with him. That whole entire trip, I had spent 15 euros the entire trip. I tried to pay for stuff. He would not take a dime from me. So at this point, I almost am searching for a way to prove to him that I'm not with him for his money. So I told him, I go, if I need to, take on some more of the financial responsibilities in this relationship, I'm more than happy to do so because this is a partnership and you're there for me when I need you, and I'm gonna be there for you when you need me. And he said, I appreciate you saying that, but I don't think it's gonna come to that, but thank you for saying that. I said, of course. So he offers on it, and his offer wins apparently by 1,000 euros, and he decides he's gonna move forward with this property maybe a couple days before he came to visit me in Dallas. And I was fully supportive of him buying this property, 100%, because he's a successful businessman, and if he thinks this is a smart move, then I trust him. And also, the money was a whole separate other thing. I didn't care. All I cared about was being with him. So he's coming to Dallas, and I'm getting excited, not just because he's coming to see me, but this is a trip where he's going to start to meet my people, and it's getting real. And so I remember he was flying into Dallas. It's the middle of September, and I made this sign. It said, "Welcome to Dallas, my Danish man," and I'm waiting outside baggage claim.
I'm taking votes. Do you think she would have did this for a Tyrone? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat. If no, 1 in the chat. Oh, she would have did it for Tyrone. Exactly. That's why black women going so hard. You let this white man come in here and play your ass like that. Tyrone wouldn't have got a second glance. But there's some stuff to unpack, honey. There is some stuff to unpack. So that's why a lot of black women are side-eyeing her. And when I tell y'all to interracially date, I'm not always saying white. There are other groups out here besides white when you interracially date. Okay. All right. There's other ethnicities and other minority groups that you could, partake in. It don't have to be white. I mean, it could be, but that's not what I'm getting at. When I say black women to open up your options, I'm telling you to open up your options and just be open. Vet, of course, but be open, because then what you're creating is you're making yourself more desirable by more men, which means men become very competitive for your attention. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not the type of black woman that's like, oh, black men can't be your first choice. I'm simply saying that you need to open up your options so black men are not your only choice, so that you can get whatever man to actually court you and compete for you, because that's part of courtship. But if you're narrowing everything down immediately, then no one is really competing for you. And men, I don't care what they say, they always want what other men want, what other men desire. So make yourself desirable, but you're cutting down your desirability when you just narrow it to black men. And if you notice, other races of women, they kind of leave it open. Not all, but those women that do, they always have options, but they're always having men compete for them because they feel like they have to. And maybe you've never been in an experience, because I've been in a few experiences where men get very competitive. Like, if they see another man talking to you in front of them, then they feel the need to apply pressure that they probably wouldn't have applied if they didn't see that, oh, other men are desiring her too. Like, oh my gosh. So it just creates, it literally heightens your chances of meeting someone. That's all it's about. Now, is it supposed to be like game playing and all of that? No, no, no. It's just you're single and you're not exclusive. You're not exclusive in an exclusive situation. You're not in a commitment. So it's just like your options are open, and this man wants to talk to you, this man wants to talk to you, this man wants to talk to you, this man wants to talk to you. And so it creates a competition to get your time and attention and to not waste it because there's someone else around. So just make sure like that's the focus. I'm not saying a black man can't be your first choice. I'm saying don't make a black man your only option. That's what I'm saying. That's all I've been saying this whole time. So and then how do you make your choice and decision on what man to choose? The man that treats you the best. The man that treats you the best with integrity and consistency. That's it. And I don't know what man that is going to be. All I know is that should be the standard: integrity, treats you the best, treats you in a way that you deserve, sees your worth, and then it's healthy. Like that's really it. Now, could it be a white man? Possibly. Could it be a black man? Possibly. Could it be a Hispanic man? Possibly. Could it be an Asian man? Possibly. But give yourself those options though. That's all I've been saying this whole time. Give yourself those options. Don't narrow it down so quickly.
Waiting for him to get through customs, and I'm holding the sign super high, waiting for him to come through, and I will continue the rest in part 5. Danish deception, part 5.
Oh.
Okay, so he comes out of the baggage claim past customs, and I see him, and immediately I'm hit with the realization that I've got it so bad. And if you've never been in love before, falling in love for the first time is like getting swallowed by a current, and you don't even know it's there.
I need women to understand that 9 times out of 10, you don't love him. And I've even had to do the shadow work regarding this. I've never been in love. I've been in relationships with men, but I've never been in love. And the reason why I know I've never been in love is because if I was to strip away the romanticizing and the fantasizing of us coming together and meeting, I had a strong like. That's it. And the strong like faded quickly because, men and their bullshit. So a lot of times women think they're in love, and you're fantasizing, you're romanticizing, you're not really in love. Now, if you can sit here and tell me that if you stripped away the idea of this man, the romanticizing of this man, and you and him coming together, can you still say that you loved him? 9 times out of 10, most women would say, hell no, I don't love that man. That's not love. I think women have this idea of what love is. Like, we always get on men about, oh, they don't know how to love a woman. They don't know what love is. But I don't think women do either. And the reason I'm saying this is because you're being delusional. You're not being real. And you think by you being delusional is love. And it's like, if you were to remove the romanticizing, the fantasizing of who you think this man is, how y'all met, how y'all came together, how you thought it was meant to be, how you felt chemistry, even though this man was just mirroring you and playing you, you're not in love with that man. You are in love with something that does not even exist. You're in love with a fictional character. You're not actually in love. And so if women were actually to take a step back and look at it from a real place, you probably haven't been in love that much. And I think when you're truly in love, that's like a once in a lifetime experience. I don't think that's like a every time you meet somebody. So just be careful about that. I think women are confusing, oh, I'm in love with something else. So let me move on. So she was falling for more love bombing. The Olympic situation, let's get into this. This man lied about how he was in the Olympics to her family because that's what narcissists do.
Handball, and my cousin goes, isn't that an Olympic sport? And my ex goes, yeah, I actually went to the Olympics twice. And I immediately inserted myself into the conversation. I go, you went to the Olympics? What? He goes, you know what, I was like the backup of the backup. I didn't even play. I don't like to brag about it because I don't think it's that big of a deal. I was like, well, did you get medals? He was like,
and this is why I said that this man was a narcissist, because this is just, if you've ever been in a relationship with a narc, they like to be boastful. They like for people to see them a certain type of way. They like for people to see them in a high light while being a con. So she was definitely dealing with a narcissist, because it's like, who would lie about something so extreme? But then my thing is, sis, why do you look into this? Why did you just believe him? This man is a stranger. But one thing I learned about her is that she was so quickly trusting of this man that Even when she passed out, she could have been drugged in a foreign country by a stranger, and she didn't even, her discernment wasn't going off then, like the red flags wasn't glaring then. But so this is not shocking that she took this story that he was in the Olympics. It's crazy. But you know what's even crazier? Her family brought that shit too. Her family bought that shit too, girl. And I was like, your cousin bought that story too? Your daddy bought that story? I mean, was anyone objective? I was just like, girl, that's crazy to me. You saying the whole family was like, oh, that's interesting. Cause I'm like, what year was that? Okay. I would have been asking so many questions. I wouldn't have been buying that. I'm just like, okay, all right. But we all know that that is that imperialism. That's all that is. The imperialism, the imperialism, the imperialism. That's all that that is, honey. So the whole family bought in on the con with that one. She and then I'm like, this girl, ooh, girl.
Hours. I'm so depressed. And I remember I was supposed to go to a birthday party that night, and I texted my friend and was like, I literally cannot stop crying, so I can't go to this birthday. And I hate canceling things. And so that's how bad it was. I was actually depressed for literally days. And after he got through security, he was like, I can't even walk to the terminal. Like, I'm so depressed. Like, I just want to walk back out and just come back to you. And I was like, I want that.
And I need the girls to understand that he love bombed the hell out of her because he was homeless. He was gonna be homeless. And one thing you need to understand about narcissists, they hop from one relationship to the next. He didn't even break up with his ex. He lied to her and said that they were broken up, but he was still living with her. They were still together. So he knew that that relationship was coming to an end and he needed a place to stay. He needed a backup plan. And this girl was the backup plan. And so he's love bombing her, putting pressure on her that they need to make this decision. And she's feeding into it like, oh my God, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. And the whole time he's just homeless.
That too. And he said, we need to start having the hard conversations on like what we want for the future. And I said, absolutely. And so he was like, we need to decide whether or not we're going to live in Denmark or live in Dallas. And I still can't believe this came out of my mouth, but I told him, I said, listen, I know you already have like a very much established career. And so if you want me to move to Denmark, I'm more than happy to have that conversation with you and like discuss it. And he said, looking at you with your friends and your family this past week has made me realize that I don't want to take that away from you. And you're really close with your parents. They're driving distance away. And like, I live in Copenhagen. My family lives in my hometown in Aalborg, which is hours away. I don't have family in Copenhagen. And I want us to be around family, especially like if we're talking about having kids one day, like I want that support and I want you to be around the people that you love. And so I was so happy because realistically,
Girl, a man that has a good life, money, wealth, a royal title, just gives up his life like that. Like, just gives it all up. Just meets you and just gives it all up. Are you? Girl, that man ain't got no place to stay. Like, I instantly would have caught on, like, come on. I'm just like, girl, he meets you and within 4 months, he gives up his whole life. He's so accomplished. He's well traveled. Come on. Like, and see, this is why people don't see her as a victim. And I get it because she was being very delusional and naive, and I get it. But he did emotionally manipulate her. And we're going to get into that here in a sec because two things can be true at the same time.
I did not want to move to Denmark. And so I was so happy that this man is willing to give up everything to be with me. So I was so excited about that.
Right.
So he was gone for about 3 weeks to a month at this point, and he hadn't booked a loan of $50,000. So at this point, I was aware of the fact that like they had this royal title, they had this family trust that like, and like the family had money. I didn't really know like how much or the details behind it, but he told me he was going to call his dad and ask him for a loan. So a couple hours go by, he calls me,
and then this is another thing too that I need the girls to understand. If a man comes to you with a list of problems is always something. Since so far in this story time, this man is always going through some shit. We're talking about a successful man, a wealthy man. Girl, the only men that go through shit are, and when I say have problems, like list of problems, are men that are broke. Men that don't have it. That should be your biggest sign. He's always coming to you. It's something. It's something. It's something. It's something. That means that this is a man that does not know how to find the solutions to his own problems as a man. That's who you're fantasizing here? That's who you're fantasizing? I don't get that. I don't that's who you're fantasizing. This man came to you with problem after problem after problem after problem after problem after problem after problem, and you didn't think, damn, like it's just too much. And then the thing that kept killing me is every time he had a problem with something, money was involved. Your antennas is not going up, sis. Like I didn't get that.
He's really upset. He's like, I talked to my dad on the phone. He will not loan me the money. He says I've been acting super irresponsible, traveling, doing all these things, and so he just doesn't want to. He thinks I need to like learn from my actions, and if I'm not prepared for something like this, then there's nothing he can do to help me. And so I felt really bad for him because he essentially felt like his dad was abandoning him, and I felt really bad for him. And so I said, "What's the plan?" He's like, "I'll figure it out. Like even if I have to like sell some things."
And every time she felt bad, this man got a lick. She gave him money.
Only time, and that you're 100% comfortable with giving me this money. And I said, absolutely, I'm 100% comfortable. And we will continue on in part 6. The Danish deception.
Girl, I could know you for years and I ain't never comfortable with giving no money. I could know you for years and I'm not comfortable with giving people money. Because when money gets involved, that's when things get really complicated. So her being, I'm 100% comfortable. Why are you so comfortable with giving this man money? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Even I had to learn with my own family, especially on my daddy's side, that no shade, but when you dealing with people that are in survival mode, they always got a scam. They always got a con. They got some type of con. Daddy warned me when I was young, be careful, they family, but be careful though, because, they surviving out here and they don't mind taking advantage of family. So you got to be careful. So I ain't never just been comfortable. I ain't never been comfortable. And I didn't understand until I got older and people try, because that's what they going to do. They try. And yeah, that's just what it is. So I ain't never just comfortable with giving up money like that. I just know it always comes with some stuff. Now, they ain't never tried to put me in a scheme or anything like that because I think they know better. My dad would lose it. But have they tried to ask for money? Of course. So you just got to be careful. You just never know. And you have to understand that people who do these type of things, like a lot of people are like, I just don't understand like how someone could lie like this. I just don't understand how someone could scam like this. They're in survival mode. They're in survival mode. So how you view life versus how they view life are two totally different things. They're trying to survive. You're living. So you're like, I just don't understand like why they're in survival mode. So you got to know who you around. Okay. You got to know who you're around. Are they in a good place? And some people do fake the funk. They do. They do. And this man was definitely faking the funk, but there was still so many red flags where it's like, it just seemed like this man is in straight survival mode. So just keep that in mind. Is this person in survival mode or is this person living? And you're never safe around people that are in survival mode because they may use you to survive. All right? Okay, class is truly in session. They may use you to survive. So when you are out here vetting and you're discerning, look to see, are they in survival mode or are they living? Oh my gosh, they're in survival mode. Now, does everyone project their survival mode on others? No. This is why you have to vet and not be judgy. Okay. And also let me explain this too. There's judgment, which is discerning. That's how you make good judgment calls. This is how you make good choices. This is how you become a good decision maker. Okay. Judgy is when you judge someone off a surface level judgment and you hold it against them and you think that that's the truth. That's not what I'm talking about here. So the girls are so scared to judge and I'm like, girl, how are you making good decisions? You have to know how to be a good judger. You have to make good judgment to be a good decision maker, to make good choices over your life. You have to judge, but you're not doing it from a judgy place. You're doing it from a discerning place. So that means you're observing. You're not jumping to conclusions. You're observing, and then you're assessing, and then you're coming up with your conclusion, and you make it fair, right? You make it fair. You make it reasonable. At times, you may even have to make it a little bit difficult, but within good reason. That's what makes you a good decision maker. That's what makes you good at judgment and being able to read people in situations. But judgy typically is when it's very surface level and you're judging a person and it doesn't impact you at all. It doesn't affect you at all. Like, that's low vibrational judgy behavior, and that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, but you have to judge. Like, that's part of being a good decision maker. All right. What do you think judges do when they up there in court? They are trying to be a good decision maker, so they got to judge, but they're not judging surface level judging. They're discerning the situation. They're hearing out both sides of the situation. Hell, they're taking in witnesses. They're taking in a bunch of information, and then they're collecting the data to then do what? Judge, discern. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's continue. I was shocked about this. I was like, girl, so he kept coming to her with a list of problems, and then he also met her dad.
I know he's definitely planning on coming to Dallas for Thanksgiving to meet my parents, but I didn't know when he was planning on flying back. And so basically, he's gone, and I feel like the second he leaves, like everything just kind of like starts to like fall apart for him. And so, for starters, his back pain was getting like much worse. He was complaining about it every single day. Like, he would text me in the middle of the night being like, it hurt so bad, like, and I felt terrible because I wanted to help him, but there was nothing I could do because I'm living 5,000 miles away. On top of that, his uncle, who was really sick with cancer, had passed away.
And listen, ladies, the easiest way to detect a narc is always something. My back, my leg, I lost my job. My family don't talk to me, and it's because they never loved me. My childhood trauma. It's always something. Okay, stay away from these narcissists that always got a list of problems. They're always the victim. Stay away. Because, girl, it was just getting to a point. I'm like, it's always something. And then they'll use the excuse, something on their body don't work. They got stomach issues. They got back problems. It's literally always something. That is a huge red flag for a narcissist. That is just how they always need somebody to feel sorry for them. It's crazy.
And he told me the funeral was gonna be next week. And I remember telling him, I will fly to Denmark if I need to, if you want me to be there for you. And he's like, no, it's fine. Like, I can handle it. It's okay. And so basically that happened. And then I remember I went to Charlotte to go visit one of my girlfriends who had just had a baby. One of my girlfriends that I've been friends with for years and years since college. And so I'm in Charlotte with my friend, and I get a text from him. He's saying, hey, my dad's in the hospital. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And he was like, we still don't understand what happened, but the doctors are running tests. And so later on that day, he told me that he had blood poisoning, and he had like his infection numbers were like going crazy. And I remember telling him, well, if you're not able to come to Dallas in November, obviously I'll understand, especially like if your dad's in the hospital, like I understand completely. Again, I told him, I'll be there for you if you want me to. He's like, it's okay. Over the course of the next couple days, his dad started to show some more improvement. And so he ended up deciding to come to visit me in Dallas. So now
And this was all a lie. The only situation that was going on was he was still living with that woman at this time. So at the time that she's being told all of this information, this man is just laid up over there, not FaceTiming her, because he's laid up over there with another woman. You see why I say you need to have boundaries with your empathy? Don't be like Oprah. You get empathy, you get empathy, you get empathy, you get empathy. This is not Oprah, okay? We are not sitting on her couch. You need to slow down and vet, because she just bought it. She just bought it so quickly. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And he weaponized her empathy and this is where the emotional manipulation really started to pile in. And this is where I started to feel bad, because he started to weigh in on her empathy. And then what does she want to do? People please, improve. A lot of women think that they're givers when really you're just a people pleaser. You seek validation, you seek approval from people. You feel the need to prove because for some reason you struggle with your self-worth, and you need to unpack that. So a lot of women think they're givers, but really you're just a people pleaser. You pride yourself on being a giver, but really you're just a people pleaser where you're seeking validation and approval and acceptance. That's what that is. And you're confusing that for, I'm a good person and I'm a giver, but you're a horrible person to yourself, because you give to a point where now you're putting yourself in lack and you're completely empty. No one's coming over to fill your well because you just keep giving, 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 and you're doing it to seek validation, acceptance, and approval from people. And then they're just weaponizing that. They're draining your energy. And what are you doing to yourself in the process? You pride yourself on being a good person, but are you a good person to yourself? No. You're trying to prove that you're a good person to everyone else, but how are you treating yourself by trying to prove that you're a good person to everyone else? What are you doing to yourself when you're seeking this type of validation? What are you doing to yourself when you're seeking this type of acceptance from people? What are you doing to yourself? Are you a good person to yourself? And that's when you know you are giving out of obligation because you're a people pleaser and you're looking for validation, approval, and acceptance. Because I never hear, oh, I'm a giver, I'm a giver. That's just in my nature. But what is you being a giver in that way? What is it doing to yourself? Let's unpack that. That's some more shadow work too that you could do as well. And when you are giving out of obligation, because I talked about this recently, there was a woman that came up to me in the beauty supply store, and I had to check in with myself. Am I giving out of obligation? Out of obligation because I'm people pleasing, or am I giving out of the kindness of my heart? I had to check in with myself as an ex people pleaser. I had to check in like, no, I feel spiritually moved to give because I'm grateful and I've been blessed, and I'm like, I want to bless someone. I want to pay it forward. So I had to check in with myself before I just jump right into obligation giving over, no, I feel spiritually moved to give. I feel spiritually moved to pay it forward because I feel blessed and I'm grateful and I'm just showing gratitude right now with this act of kindness. Check in with yourself. But I used to give out of obligation, and that was something I had to unpack in therapy with shadow work. And now I have check-ins before I give. Am I giving truly to just give, or am I giving out of obligation? And you'll know which one it is because you'll check in with yourself and say, am I giving out of obligation? If it's obligation, that's people pleasing. All right, let's get rid of that. Okay, so then she met the dad, or he met her dad. And I was so shocked by this. I was like, girl, my daddy would never.
With him immediately. And I think watching him with my dad was just, it just warmed my heart because they just instantly connected. And my dad, like everyone else, was very fascinated by him. And I remember the following day we went to African market.
Girl, I'm gonna be so real with y'all on this internet. My daddy would never be fascinated by a white man. Me bringing home a white man? Girl, that was what's that movie with Bernie Mac? Um, Ashton Kutcher. Girl, it would have been a movie, it would have been a situation like that. My daddy would never be impressed by me bringing home no white man. I'm just being honest with you. He would eventually come around like Bernie Mac did, but he gonna give that white boy a hard time. For real, he gonna give him a hard time. Her daddy was just so cool with it, like impressed. Whoa, what? Because you can't charm a man. You. It's harder to guess who. Guess who? That's one of my favorite movies too. Guess who? It's funny. Bernie Mac, perfect for that role. Y'all have to watch it. But like my daddy would have been giving Bernie Mac like my daughter, my like he would have felt some type of way, but her daddy was just so cool with it. I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy, girl. Okay.
Market with my parents. It was just me, my ex, and my parents. And he's talking to my parents about the Olympics, and they're asking him all these questions. And he was like, "Yeah, like the gold medal I gave to my mom, she has it, and then the bronze medal actually donated it to charity." And I'm just like, this guy is just so freaking amazing. And so we had an amazing Thanksgiving.
And it's like crazy. It's like you bought that, and your daddy bought that. That's crazy. Donated it to charity. Crazy, 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 crazy. Absolutely not. Then he love bombed her more.
Like, or go back to your hotel. And no, we're talking about being in the village. And he said, I don't care, I'm gonna be there. And so that was when I realized that this man really takes my culture seriously. He wants to be there for me, he wants to be there for my family, and that meant so much to me. And so at the end of the trip, I told him, I said, this week has showed me that I know that I want to spend my life with you, and I'm just thank you for being the man that you are. And he said, I want to spend my life with you, and I'm gonna let you know, like, I already know that I want to marry you someday, like, and I don't want you to ever doubt that. And so he asked me, he's like, I have a question. Like, do you have an idea of what ring you would want? And I was like, I mean, I have some ideas, but I have not thought about it really extensively. And so he said, what are your thoughts on us going ring shopping? And keep in mind, at this point, we've been dating for like,
Girl, she is just love bombed. She was just love bombed. She was just eating up the love bombing.
4 months, 3, 4 months. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. So we found a jeweler. We went and we tried on some rings. I remember I'm trying on lab grown and natural, and I'm like looking at the price differences, and I'm like, I am not allowing you to buy me a natural stone because that number is just crazy. I'd rather us spend money investing, doing other things. And he said, well, let me look into it because I kind of do want to get you natural. And I was like, no, we're getting a lab grown. And I remember, like, if you've gone ring shopping, the price difference is like astronomical. And so I remember I picked out a ring that I really liked, and then we left, and that was basically the end of like the rings for that moment. And so he goes back to Denmark, and the plan was for me to go on a trip with him for Christmas.
Girl, I'm telling you, them men that need a place to stay, oh, they gonna lay some good pipe. I've been telling y'all that for years. Them brokies, they gonna lay some good pipe. That's why that should be a red flag. He laying good pipe like that. He lay pipe like he don't gotta go to work tomorrow. That's concerning. Ladies, when you're dealing with a hardworking man, okay, you get good D on vacation. You get good D when he's off from work. Girl, he gotta go work the next day and he blowing out your back. That don't sound right. That sounds very suspicious. Okay. A hardworking man, it's gonna be some quickies in there until he has more time on his hands. Maybe he's stressed at work. You may luck up a few times. You know what I mean? But girl, he laying it like that, girl. That man ain't got no damn job. That's what that is. That's what that is. He's exerting all of his energy with you because he ain't got nowhere to go for employment. So be careful about that. Your antennas should be going off. All right. Now, if y'all are on vacation, if it's the holidays, if he may need a good session because he's stressed, but it's not gonna be that consistent though. It's just not. It's not. It's not. Okay. Let's see. The next one. Oh yeah, he just kept making more excuses, and she was just eating them up, girl. She was eating them up.
And look at hotels and flights and everything and send it to me, and I'll book it. We're gonna go to Brazil. I said, okay, sounds good. So I wake up one day, I said, hey, did you book the travel? And he was like, no, I haven't, but there's something to talk to you about. I go, what's up? He goes, so I talked to a doctor because my back has gotten really, really bad, and turns out I have 2 herniated discs, and I'm gonna need to get surgery. And I said, okay, like, that's fine. And he said, I'm gonna have to get surgery December 21st. And I said, oh wow, okay, well, that's fine. We don't need to go on a trip. I'll just come to Denmark and I'll help you recover and everything. And he said, actually, no, I don't want you to come to Denmark. I want you to be there, but I don't want that to be the first time you meet my parents, and they definitely want to be there. And at this point, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm your girlfriend, and we're talking about a future. Why would I not be there when you're getting a major surgery? And I will continue on in part 7. Okay, Danish deception, part 7.
That's
so
good.
He tells me that he needs to get a back surgery, and he does not want me to come to Denmark because he wants me to meet his parents with him there because there's a serious language barrier. And
I can't believe she fell for that. But the language barrier probably is what got her, just being honest. So I kind of get that. Plus, she wanted to make an impression, so I get that. Okay. One thing that I noticed, and this is where to me she was a victim, was the problems kept piling and he kept emotionally abusing her. But one thing that I want to point out to women that may be in a similar situation is if he's always trying to weigh in on your emotions anytime he's having money issues, that is financial abuse. That is emotional manipulation. Okay. And I know it's hard to decipher because he's twisting things and he's using emotions to get you on his side. And so it creates some confusion, or you may feel guilty to not feel sorry, or you may feel guilty that you didn't help, but he's intentionally doing that. And if you notice, if this situation typically always occurs around him having money issues, that's financial abuse and that's emotional abuse. And he's using emotional abuse to financially abuse you. So be careful with that, because this is when I'm like, okay, yeah, she was stupid, she was dumb, but she was also victimized emotionally, financially. She just was. And he just took advantage of her. Now, did she lay out the green carpet? Absolutely. He ran every green light that she laid out. She did. But it's just wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should be able to be dumb. And I always tell people this. You should be able to be dumb and people not take advantage of you. That's just not the world that we live in. You should be able to be naive and people not take advantage of you. But that's just not the world that we live in. We live among others. That's what I'm gonna call it. We live among the others. Because I wouldn't take advantage of someone that's being dumb. I would probably sit them down and educate them. Or I would let them know, hey, correct them or something. I wouldn't take advantage of someone like that. I wouldn't take advantage of someone being naive. I would give them grace. Not everybody do that, especially when they're in survival mode. Not everybody does that. So I always say that, you should be able to be dumb. You should be able to be naive. You should be able to make stupid choices and mistakes and, not be preyed on and victimized. But that's just not the world that we live in. So you have to be careful. And unfortunately, this woman was victimized, y'all. She was like, I get the irritation because I got irritated a few times too, especially in the beginning. But around this time, I was like, okay, he's really playing with her head. And causing more confusion. And I hope she never allows someone to come into her life and override her inner voice, her inner knowing, and her intuition.
Said that she will only give me the money if I spend a couple more days with the family. I said, well, you should do that. Like, I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to take you away from your family by any means. And he said, I don't even want to be around them right now. It's just like not good for my mental health. And then I said, okay, well, what do you need from me? I said, I can cover like the flights and the hotels. It's not that big of a deal. And at that point, we had been on 2 trips together, or no, we'd only been on 1 trip together to the south of France. And then Paris was gonna be our 2nd trip. The rest of the times, he had now visited me in Dallas 3 times. And so I told him, I said, I can pay for the flights and the hotels. It's not that big of a deal. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah, of course. He's like, I just don't know what I would do without you. Like, I just feel like I keep hitting these roadblocks and you are there to pick up the pieces every single time. And I'm so grateful for that.
Oh my God.
He said, I'll always be there to support you. So now we can go back to landing in Paris. We meet at the airport and he told me, he's like, letting you know I'm not in the best mood. I've been just like really upset. And I said, I am here to make you happy. So we land in Paris.
Oh my God, girl. It's not your job to make that man happy. Then what else? At this point, he owes her $6K while taking trips, and she never questioned him. No boundaries, no deal breakers, just going along with any and everything.
I paid for a lot of that trip and he paid for a little bit of the trip too. So we both kind of paid. And keep in mind, he still owes me $6,000 at this point. I am not concerned about the money. I don't know why I should have been concerned. I should have been noticing these red flags like, bro, like, where's my money? But
the reason why she was not a concern is because she gave this money out of obligation, aka people pleasing. And when you do things like that, you tend to feel guilty for asking for something back that you gave because you gave it out of obligation and people pleasing. So did he manipulate her and emotionally manipulate her? Oh, of course, but you also gave out of obligation and people pleasing too. So this is why you feel guilty for asking for the 6K. But it's like he owe you the 6K. Why would you feel guilty about that? But when you're people pleasing, you feel wrong for asking. You feel wrong for asking. So that's what she's struggling with. And that's not really on him, that's on her. But at the same time, he emotionally abused her out of the 6K. So that's kind of where I give the grace. It's like, girl, but damn.
again, this is someone that I am planning on marrying, and money at this point, like, money comes and goes, and I wasn't focused on that. I was just focused on us. So we finished our trip in Paris, say our goodbyes.
It just seems like she was really trying to force this relationship. We need to unpack that too. That would be some more shadow work. Let's see what else.
And I was like, well, that's, a good solid base for us to have. And I was more than okay with that. Keep in mind, he still does owe me money at this point. So they end up going under contract. The plan is for the house to sell by the end of January. And everything seemed like it was going smooth. And then one day he calls me and he tells me that he's had the worst day ever. And I'm like, oh, now what? He's frantic. He's like, there's a fire in the control room, the electrical control room at the apartment complex that he bought. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. He's like, there's no power. Like, no one has power. He's like, I just paid this guy $2,000 to bring generators to power up the whole entire apartment. I have an electrician coming. And he's like freaking out. And he basically used all his money he had to put towards like the generators and paying the electrician for as much work as they could do. And I was like, okay, like, what now? And he was like,
girl, the control room, be so freaking for real. We later find out that there was no apartment building.
Need help. At this point, he has now asked me for help. He said, can you send me $5,000? And I said, yeah, of course, I can help you. Again, love is a powerful drug. I hate myself. I hate this.
Girl, stop blaming love. Okay, that's another reason why the girls are giving her a hard time. Love is a powerful drug. No, no, no. I think this is something else. It's not love. It's I don't know. Like it's like she's tying her self-worth to this relationship, which is why she's forcing it. Like this relationship gives her a leg up in society. And let me show you what I'm talking about. It's not love. She is it's not love. It's status. It's like her proximity to whiteness gives her status that she's looking for, that she wants. She just needs to be real about that. Because you keep saying love. Girl, what are you, 2 years old? I mean, not two. What are you, like 7 and you're still playing dress up and being a princess?
Look at the screen.
No, not that one. Hold on, hold on.
That's mine.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Not that one, not that one. Where is it at? Where is it at? Because, girl, when I saw this, I said, ooh, girl, that's why they giving you a hard time, girl. Hold on, is it this one? Girl, I don't got my glasses. Is it this one? No.
Come with us to our very first modeling gig together with the Ritz-Carlton. Excited for this. This was also Martin's first time modeling, which I knew he was going to crush it because, come on, he already looks like a model. We started out the day taking shots at the pool, sipping some refreshing drinks, and you can't see it in these videos, but the sweat was dripping, y'all. We literally were fighting the urge.
Am I the only one that thinks that this man is not attractive in the face? He got a nice body, but that face, it's hard. And that's what I'm saying. He into some dark stuff because his face is just hard to me. I don't know. And then modeling, what was like she was forcing this because she liked how it looked on Instagram. She liked how it looked to the public. She liked how it looked to her family, her friends, the people that she was seeking validation from. So that's why she was forcing it so bad. She was willing to deal with whatever this man was going to throw her way as long as she got the look, not the reality, just the look. She was okay with it.
Jump headfirst into the pool. The team we worked with was amazing and they kept hyping us up, and Martin was like, I could get used to this model life. But in all honesty, we felt so natural, and I know all the shots and videos they got are going to turn out so great. They asked me for a solo moment by Martin, so I channeled my inner Tyra Banks the best I could because modeling is obviously not something that I do very often. After the pool shots, we went back to the room to change into our second look for the next portion of the shoot at Fairings, which if you haven't been, the food is so bomb. Like seriously, bury me in my grave with one of those lobster rolls, please and thank you. We spent so much of the shoot laughing and just having fun, and this day really served as a reminder to try to find joy in everything you do, especially with the people you love. Not me whispering in Martin's ear about how I can't wait to have more of the lobster roll. We finished off the shoot with two of our favorite things, wine and dessert. I swear, Martin almost ate his whole dessert before they finished getting the shots. It was so funny. I cannot wait to see the results, and we've already scheduled our staycation because the vibes are really that great. After the shoot was done, we spent the rest of the afternoon in the pool, and it was the perfect end to a wonderful day.
Girl, I'm trying to find. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. It's this one. Hold on.
Do you have a message for your very first 4th of July as a U.S. resident?
Sure, if I can do it in Danish.
You can do it in Danish.
Okay, well here we go. Til alle mine amerikanske venner, glædelig uafhængighedsdag. Det er en stor dag i dag. Husk på, at det er et privilegium at bo i et land med så mange muligheder, som I har her.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. He sounded a little sexy. I ain't gonna lie. He do. But not enough to be giving him $30,000. That's crazy. But his face, I'm not attracted to it. I hate that we met this way. Maybe if we would have met a different way, maybe I would have been like, but not no $30,000. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
USA. Jeg har været heldig at rejse til mange lande verden over og set lidt af hvert. Og jeg er taknemmelig for at være her i USA. Og alle de muligheder, der kommer med det. Jeg er taknemmelig for at være omgivet af mennesker, som jeg holder meget af, og som holder meget af mig. Så glædelig uafhængighedsdag. Peace.
Yeah. Give or take. Okay, is it this one? Damn. Oh, girl, it was this one. Girl, shit, girl, this right here. Girl, and see, this is how people be trying to make it seem like I be acting like I be having my nose up in the air. I don't be having my nose up in the air. She like, this is crazy. Like, girl, oh, this is embarrassing. And you getting scammed with your nose up like that? And that's why I'm saying it really this is just a mess. It really gives it gives what I said it gave. That's crazy. And I feel like this is why black women giving her a hard time. This I'm telling you why it was the way she was acting with this man. She gives, I got the man, you hoes, you bitches is mad, and I'm better than you. That's what it gives. And this man was scamming the hell out of your ass. That now, black women. Now I really see where you coming from. Because at first I'm like, y'all being a little harsh. You don't think y'all being a little harsh? But I'm like, did y'all not see her chin? Girl, that's crazy. Girl, that see, you know what? Let me move on. Let me go back. Cause that's crazy. Um mm. And listen, she was posting all of this stuff to social media too. And this man was scamming her the whole time. That's crazy. I don't
To our very first modeling gig together with the Ritz-Carlton.
hold on. We already saw that one. What else? This is embarrassing. It make you wonder though, are there any other girlies out here with a white man they getting scammed on the low, but they put it out on social media like that man is taking care of them, but he really not. He a bum. He a low budget brat. It make you wonder.
I didn't think I was gonna make another video about.
Oh, okay. We're gonna come to that later. Let's go back to her story.
I hate that I was so willing to help him, and it is what it is. But I said in the
Girl, me and you both, we hate that you helped this man. I don't know why you helped him. It was foolish, and I hope you never do it again. Okay. Um, okay, this is when I was like, okay, she's not giving because she's just giving through kindness and gratitude. She's giving from people pleasing. She feels obligated because she's seeking approval and acceptance.
and to me, I was like, well, if you can help a friend and have a good investment, I think that makes a lot of sense. And as you guys can already tell, I'm a very giving person. I've been very giving my entire life. I get it from my parents. They're very generous and selfless. And so when it comes to helping friends and family in need, I've always done it. If I can do it, I'll always do it. And so to me, I'm like, we have this money coming in. Let's invest it. And I own this house here and we don't have any big purchases coming up, so it's okay. Like, I wasn't really stressed and pressed about it. And so basically I was like, okay, the house is going to close at the end of the month and then he'll be.
Then she raised the bar lower. And I believe this had a lot to do with social media because I just showed you social media. Seems like she was trying to be like a interracial relationship guru, maybe. I don't know. I didn't follow her back then, so y'all will have to let me know. But she's literally said she would accept this man sick and broke. And again, her self-worth is in the trash.
I don't care if you're sick and broke. I love you for you. And we're getting married and I'm so excited and ready for it. So the morning of our wedding, obviously he couldn't afford a ring at that point. And so I remember he got on one knee. I woke up that morning and he's down on one knee next to the bed. And he was like, I know this isn't the proposal you dreamed of. And I promised you I'm going to propose to you one day with a real ring. And we're going to share this with the world. But I want to ask you, will you marry me? And I said, absolutely, I'll marry you.
A man with a royal title couldn't even propose to you with a ring.
And so we went to the courthouse. I remember I was wearing a dress from Fashion Nova because I didn't care. I was just excited to marry my person. And we got married. And I mean, I truly thought this was one of the best days of my life. I was so happy. I was grinning so big. I still have the pictures and the videos from this day. And we went to Broken Bow afterwards.
I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sick to my stomach. I am sick to my stomach. Here more problems around money after she married this man. And I knew he was going to take it up a notch because now they're married.
Has told him that he owes $318,000 in taxes. In addition to that, his dad owes $12 million in taxes. And at this point, I did not have a lot of information about his family money because I've always been the type of person, like, if your parents have money, that means your parents have money. That does not mean you have money. So I didn't even ask details about his parents' finances. But obviously, I'm like, if his parents owe $12 million in taxes, they got money.
Girl, $12 million in taxes. They family is broke. How many times financial literacy? If you owe the IRS, you are broke. I keep trying to tell people. I don't care how rich they used to be. When you owe taxes, they can come in and garnish your wages. So no, that would have been a major red flag. But she already married the man now, so it don't even matter. She already married the man. And you know, there's good credit and then there's bad credit, and then there's owing the IRS. You never want to owe the IRS. You never do. You never do. You never do. That is the worst thing ever. Okay. What else? So more problems around money.
And he said that the person that was doing his taxes for years and years and also doing his dad's taxes was one of his childhood friends that owns an accounting firm. And he's like, we've been paying a lot of money in taxes over the years, so someone must be committing some sort of fraud at this point. And so I'm obviously freaking out. This is a lot of money that he owes. So he said, you know what, I'm going to use the rest of the proceeds from selling my home. And in addition to that, he told me at this point he owns 3 different watches. He owns 2 Rolexes and a Patek watch, which if you're not a watch person, these are very expensive watches. And so a couple hours go by, he's like, I sold my Patek watch, and like he said, he sold it at a loss. He just needed to get the money. He said he's short about $30K. And so he tells me that he's going to reach out to his parents and
I need people to understand that when you are truly dealing with a narcissist, they always got a scam. You're the scam. Him selling the watches are a scam, and anything else business related that he mentions is a freaking scam. I just need you to understand that. They always got some bright business idea, plan, business in the works. They're always selling something because they can never hold on to money. They can never hold on to a job. They're always in financial ruin. If you're in a relationship or a marriage with a narcissist, that man will literally put you in financial ruin. So the quicker you separate, the better, sis. So the watches would have been a red flag for me. Watches would have been a red flag. Let me see. No, it's up all the way. So let's see what else. So more money, more problems. He had to sell his watches. More problems with money here again. Like at this point, the money problems were just piling up and she was just eating it.
parents are sleeping in the guest bedroom. And I wake up and I get a text from him. And he says, hey, can you come downstairs real quick? And I said, of course. So I go downstairs. I'm like, what's up? He said, one of my friends, the friend that he had received $5K from for the tax bill, reached out to me and said he's freaking out because his wife really wants to buy this house and he's short a certain amount of money to purchase this home. And obviously he was like, I feel so bad because he loaned it to me because he was trying to help me out. And my biggest strength and weakness is empathy. And when I saw him hurting because his friend was not able to do something because of the money he had loaned my ex, and at this point I felt like he...
Listen, empathy with boundaries, strength. Empathy with no boundaries, weakness. Okay? That matters. Empathy with no boundaries, weakness. Empathy with boundaries, strength. All right?
The friend had loaned us the money. It wasn't like he loaned my ex the money because we were married. And so I do something so stupid and idiotic. I end up loaning him an additional $3K, not even a week after I'd already given him $15K. So I actually ended up giving him $18,000 in the month of March of 2023. Yes, I'm sick to my stomach. So I can send him the money. We end up going to the airport, fly to Cabo. We have an amazing trip. And at this point, I had just hard launched him on my Instagram Valentine's Day prior. So at this point, I hard launched him after we were already married. And
again, I believe that's why she was forcing it. She was trying to live out her dream of being in this public interracial relationship. I feel like that was another part of this situation that made her so desperate and just forceful and low-key controlling. She came across controlling to me. I don't really see anyone saying that, but I feel like she was so controlling, which is why she was so eager to give him money, was because she was trying to make this work, and it just actually was controlling and very forceful, which is very masculine. And I don't even think she understands that she stepped into her masculine energy to make this relationship work. Like she's at one point started mothering him. It made me sick to my stomach. I'm just like, oh my God, you're mothering him now. She doesn't judge, but really she lacks discernment. So that's another thing, is she prides herself on not judging, but really she just lacks discernment.
showing me like
Because he took her to his family's home, and it didn't give, I come from a wealthy family, I have a royal title, I was in the Olympics. It just didn't give that. But she prided herself on not being judgy when really she should have judged to discern, not judge to be judgy, like this is your family's home. Like there's a difference, right? Things are not adding up. You go to his home, it doesn't give royal title, doesn't give wealthy family, wealthy background. It doesn't give that. It gives something else, but you're priding yourself on not being judgy when the whole time you're not discerning it all.
My ex's childhood photos, and it was a really special night. And I remember my ex kept being like, are you sure you're okay with staying here? Because one thing I will say is they lived in a very, very humble home. And listen, I know there's billionaires out there that drive Honda Civics, so I don't judge. I'm never the type of person being like, why are you guys staying in this small house? Spend your money the way you want to spend your money. So I didn't think anything of it. But I was a little bit surprised. And also, Denmark is not the type of place that has all these like big houses. Like a lot of the homes are small regardless of if you have money. But again, didn't think anything of it. So we have a great dinner. The following day, we start going and having these like day trips all over Denmark and going to explore. And it's always me, my ex, and his parents. And
More low standards. Let's see. More low standards here.
this city exceeded my expectations. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And we ended up staying in a hotel, like a cheaper hotel by the water. And I can stay anywhere. I'm good. I don't need to stay anywhere bougie. And I remember him being like, I hate that we have to stay here. Like, it's not nice. I'm like, I don't care. Like, we have a bed, we have a place to stay. It's okay. And so,
listen, I'm a kept woman. I don't lay my head just anywhere. A man can't put me up in just anything. And we out of town? Absolutely not. I don't stay in anything less than a 4.5 star, and that's me pushing it with the 4.5. That's me trying to be reasonable. And you know what? I may even increase that. It can't be nothing less than 5 stars, because after COVID, I ain't playing them type of games. It's like, damn, girl. Damn. And as a woman, yes, where you lay your head should matter. It's not always about the money. It's about, is it safe? Is it clean? When you lower your standards so low, it puts you in a space and in an environment that comes with low quality experiences. So not clean, not safe, just bad experiences. Raise your standards and don't feel guilty about it. If you feel guilty, then you need to do work. You need to do shadow work on your self-worth. Why do you not feel worthy of staying somewhere safe and clean? And I'm sorry. And I've done the research. If you're not staying in anything at least 4.5 stars and up, it's probably not the cleanest and it's probably not the safest. That's just, it is what it is. From, if you get if you're just, I don't, like, the pool could not be up to standard, the jacuzzi, hell, if they have a sauna, it's like you have to think about those things. But if you're thinking just surface level, where it's like, I'm not trying to be judgy because, oh, I have to stay here. It's like your standards don't have to be surface level. Your standards can be in good reason. Like, well, 4.5 stars and up, it's safe, it's clean, and I feel comfortable staying there. You're a woman. Yeah. And then I'm the type of woman where, I get somewhere and it takes me a while to adjust to my new environment. Like typically when I go somewhere, it takes me a few days to adjust and get my bearings for me to feel comfortable in this foreign place. Like I'm just like that. Like I have to make the hotel lived in for me to feel comfortable there. I'm weird like that. So it's a womanly thing though. You shouldn't feel guilty for these things. You're a woman. In order for you to be feminine and nurturing, you need to feel safe. But you over here talking about, oh, we could have stayed anywhere and I would have been okay. Hell no, girl. Because if I would have seen some streetwalkers and people doing drugs on the corner, get me the hell up out of here. Like, I'm not staying here. Like, am I crazy? Raise the standards, ladies. Raise the standards. And I'm telling you, when you raise your standards and you require these things, your standards are met and your needs are taken care of. Seriously.
we spent that whole week just exploring Copenhagen, and then we get ready to travel to Nigeria for my grandmother's burial. And so at this point, we're staying in this hotel, and I remember there was like a laundromat at this hotel, so I was doing laundry, and he said, I'm gonna go and get a few things for my storage unit, because he's moved out of his place at this point. He has a storage unit. And so he comes back home and he has like this Rolex box, and he's like, oh, this is one of my Rolexes, I want to show it to you. And at this point, I had already
Then he influenced her to quit her job.
what I'm doing. I was just complaining about it, and he just said, why don't you quit? And I remember looking at him like, what do you mean quit? And he said, well, we have this money coming in, and I want you to be happy. I want you to do something that brings you joy, and real estate brings you joy. And I really hadn't been doing a whole lot of real estate that year. And so I told him, I said, well, it's going to be like kind of a transition. I'm not going to be making a lot of money at first. He said, well, you're going to have a commission. And luckily I make money. I'm going to be able to afford all the bills and you can just focus on building your business back up. And so I was like, are you sure? He said, yes. And let me tell you, everything about this decision, it felt right, but it also felt wrong. And let me tell you, I do not regret quitting my job. I regret the timing because we were not in a great financial position. And I was making like $150,000 a year at this job. So it was a very steady, stable income. And
To me, I felt like him influencing her to quit her job was to isolate her more and to leave her with limited options and choices so that he could further emotionally manipulate her.
And I trusted him to be my provider, and that was stupid. And I have never relied on a man for anything in my entire life, and I will never do it again, like never in a million years. But you know, you live and you learn, and I made the decision to put in my 2 weeks notice. And yes, I know that was idiotic. Y'all don't have to tell me. And so we
Girl, that's crazy. And she was fantasizing being the stay at home. I don't fantasize that life. I don't listen. One thing about me, I don't care if I ain't got no damn job. I got money. I got money. I got money for a rainy day, just in case you start acting up, you start acting stupid, you start smelling yourself, you think I'm trapped, you think I'm trapped in this house. And then you go to work and you come back and I'm gone. I'm gone. You never gonna catch me like that. Mm-mm. Men do that because it makes it harder for you to leave. And then that's when they start to act up. They got you. They got you. Okay. Men will do it when it comes to your independence. So you got to think like having a kid with them takes away from some of your independence. Why? Because you got this baby on this hip now. You got to take this baby everywhere you go. You can't be as independent. You can't be as free, right? You quit your job or you give up your job. You give up your career. Now you're losing your independence. You have to be careful about that, ladies. There is a reason why the first, second, and a little bit of the third feminist movement was so important. Like women were fighting for their rights. It's only been 50 years since women earned, well, it became the law in here in the US that we could get a mortgage and own a home. So think about these things when you're making these choices and decisions because men act one way when you're independent and they act another way when you're more dependent on them. And you always have to consider that. Always, always, always. And I know women that don't work a job, but they ain't broke. They got a little side hustle. They got some stuff going on the side. All these gurus that come online, they hustling you while not working a 9 to 5 job, but they still hustling you and they got some income coming in. Don't ever allow a man to have you trapped. That's what this is about. And that's when they tend to put you in a position where they can abuse you. So you just have to be careful. My grandmother, she was a housemaker and she told me, don't fall for that shit. That's what she said. And I always used to wonder why my mom worked because I'm like, why? She had my dad was the type of man where he'll work 3 jobs and he did at one point just to make ends meet. So I didn't understand why my mom just prided herself on working, but it's because she watched her mother and she was like, absolutely not. So I get it. And she found purpose in her career. So I get it. So me, I'm like, I don't think I want to climb the corporate ladder because that is very traumatizing as a Black woman. I've heard my mother and her many stories. But I didn't want to be a homemaker either because I heard my grandmother's many stories. And when it's time to retire, I've heard the many stories. So honestly, ladies, whatever you choose, just always make sure you have some type of income. It don't have to be full time. It could be part time. It could be a passive income. It could be like a little side gig. I know women that have CDs that they have opened that helps them make some money and things like that. Do something. Just don't do nothing. Okay? Like that's basically what I'm saying. Figure out what would work for you in your situation, but don't just not have anything at all. That's when you're playing a dangerous, dangerous game.
we go to Portugal, come back to Denmark, and we're in Denmark for maybe a day, and then we travel back to Dallas. And at this point, your girl is hurting financially. Hurting because now I'm accruing like a little bit of credit card debt. My savings is like nothing. And at this point, I'm fully trusting him, and I out like everything
More money problems.
he had. So again, I'm annoyed at this point. I'm just like, sensing that a lot of this stuff is just bullshit, but I also am just like, it's the holidays, his dad's in the hospital, so I almost feel bad like coming at him whenever he's already dealing with so much. And he had said that his mom had given him money for like hotels, dinners, things in Copenhagen. She was fully aware of like the insurance payment and the financial position he was in, and she wanted to help. And again, she just wanted us to enjoy Copenhagen for one day before we came back. So we take the train back to Aalborg, and a good family friend picked us up from the train station. We went home, we had dinner, and then immediately we go to the hospital, see the dad, and like he looks sick, but he looks like he's like in decent spirits. And they said he was gonna be home for.
And then this is when she finds out that this man is a gambler with an addiction. And this is how she finds out about it.
And his best friend looks at me and goes, "You didn't know that he had a gambling addiction?" And we will pick up the rest in part 13. The Danish deception, part 13. So just to recap, I was spending Christmas with my ex and his family in Denmark, and the day after Christmas, we go to a champagne party, and that's where his best friend told me that he was having a gambling addiction. So when I hear this, I am just full panic mode. I'm questioning everything, and I'm freaking out. I remember it was so cold in Denmark, and I was outside, not even wearing a jacket, and I was sweating because I was just like so overheated. And so I asked him, I go, I had no idea. And at this point, his best friend is like mad. Like he's angry. He's like, "Are you serious? Like you didn't know?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I had no idea." He was like, "He told me that he told you." I go, "He absolutely did not tell me." And I loaned him a lot of money over the course of a year and a half. And he said he owed me money. I was like, he was like, he paid me back the money he owed me, but he did take money from me at one point. And yeah, it was bad. It was like 10 years ago. And so immediately I'm like, "Can you go inside the house and get him?" So he gets my ex walks out. He goes, "What's wrong, babe?" And I said, "Do you have a fucking gambling addiction?" I remember I screamed it in his face. I did not even care that I was causing a scene. I was just so mad. And he looks at me, he goes, "I mean, I did, but it was like 10 years ago," which did check with what his best friend said, that it was 10 years ago. I was young, I was dumb, I was stupid. I would never, ever go back to that. And I'm like, "Well, let's play back all the time that I've given you money. Tell me how to make this make sense." And he's like, "I have truly..." So I let it.
Girl, I couldn't believe she bought his lies. I'm like, the signs were there. Then she finds out, she decides to move forward and work with him when it comes to his addiction. I don't know why. Um, Basically, she mothered him from this point forward. I mean, she was already kind of mothering him, but she really started to mother him after she found out that he had a gambling addiction. Then she found out that her friend got scammed, her friend and her husband.
Let it go. And even though I'm still very confused at why he's behaving this way. So a couple days go by, and I get a message from one of my really, really good girlfriends, and she says, "Hey, I've been wanting to reach out to you for some time, but did you know that your ex owes my husband $200,000? And I remember I was like eating lunch. I was next to my ex, I was eating lunch, and I'm just like, I read this message, and it's like, I couldn't breathe. Like, I literally could not breathe. And I look at him, I go, "What the fuck is this?" And he was like, "Oh, well, you know, we were working this crypto deal where we were selling watches at a profit."
And someone earlier in the chat said the reason why she's telling this story is because she doesn't want to get sued. And it's because she is Black, she's Nigerian, and there's a stereotype that Nigerians are scammers. And so this is what white people think too. This is what crazy. This is what white people think. This ain't a Black person thing. This is not coming from me. This is, she later talks about it later in this story time. So let me throw that out there. But it's the reason why she's talking about this, so that she can separate herself publicly from this man. And this is why I'm always telling women, slow down before you post a man. Think twice before you post a man to your social media and who you're attaching yourself to publicly. Because whatever that man is attached to, now you're attached to, whether you know about it or not. So you need to be careful. You always got to be careful. I'm not saying that you have to be in secret or anything like that. Just make sure you've vetted him very well. You've done a background check. Hell, hire a private investigator, a PI, something before you post that man to your social media. Because once you publicly attach yourself to that man and you don't know all of his dealings that he may have going on, they automatically may think that you in on it, especially when you Black. Especially when you Black. And that's exactly what happened with her. But her biases is what got her into the situation.
And he's being super picky about how much profit he wants to get. I'm trying to find the right buyer, but I'll find it and we'll be fine. And I was like, "So you kept that, you have this money that you owe this man, and you lied to me about it?" He's like, "Well, money's currently in watches, and it's gonna be fine. Like, I just need to sell them." And so I was like, okay, even though like it's like red flags after red flags, I'm like, there's something up. So I'm really upset at this point, because you don't borrow money from a friend, this amount of money from a friend, and not discuss it with your wife. And so I told him, I'm like, "I'm really upset with you that like you didn't talk to me about this, but you know."
Girl, you're dealing with, and then she keeps saying, I'm really upset that you didn't talk to me about this. You're dealing with a liar. They're not going to tell you everything. They're a liar. Then this is when we get into the gambling addiction. This is when she really started to mother him for me.
And he was like, no, I'm not, like, still lying. And I'm just like, just tell me the truth. Be honest with me. For once in your life, tell me the truth. And he's like, I promise you, I'm not gambling. And then I grab his face and I pull it to me. And I scream in his face. I said, tell me the fucking truth. And he looks at me, he goes, okay, I've been gambling. And honestly, I was just quiet. Like, it was just 30 seconds of just silence. And this next part is gonna make you all a little confused, but I actually had a showing 30 minutes after that exact moment. So I went upstairs, I changed, and I grabbed my keys and I left the house and I went and showed a house. And it was the most bizarre thing ever. Like, I was in front of clients smiling, even though like everything around me felt like it was crumbling. So it was someone that
Then here we go. Here we go. One thing you about to bump into, okay, is she brings up how she married him. This is a marriage. And she brings up that she believes in her vows and it's the whole marriage bullshit. I'm like, girl, you married a man that you do not know. Period.
lies to me and that I don't trust. Like, I don't know what to do, but you know, at the same time, like, I got married. We said our vows and we said in sickness and in health, and this is a sickness. And I have no experience with addiction at all. None, zero. Like, I don't even know where to begin. And so I just start doing research and like looking at like podcasts and reading books. And at this point, I'm still very much distancing myself from him. And then I look up a Gamblers Anonymous meeting and I find one here in Dallas, and it was an open meeting happening. And I told him, I said, you know, it's still really hard for me to like talk with you, but let's go to this GA meeting. And so we go to the GA meeting, everyone's like going around circle, telling your stories. I'm just bawling my eyes out during this whole entire thing because I'm hearing like the saddest stories. I'm hearing like the most beautiful success stories. And so in a way, it like made me understand the depth of what I was going through, but it also gave me hope. And so I, for some reason, still felt like there was like a lot that I didn't know about him. Like, there was stuff missing.
And this is when her control issues really started to kick in, because she went to this GA meeting. She was projecting her own feelings and emotions on the experience and not really assessing how he was receiving the treatment. And that's what I'm saying. It's like she got very, very controlling later down the line, to the point where she was mothering. She was doing the research. It's like, when you're dealing with an addict, you can lead them to get the help. You can encourage them to get the help, but ultimately that's up for them to do. It's not on you at all. The only thing you could do is be there to support, or maybe not be there to support. Choose not to support them because maybe they're unhealthy for you. But she just got right into trying to control the situation and him and mother him through it, and it just backfired and really blew up in her face.
In my gut, in my soul, and I kept asking him, is there anything else you need to tell me? Is there anything else you need to tell me? He said no. At this point, I am still in constant communication with Crypto and Crypto's wife. And Crypto tells me, I was wondering, how would you feel about me hiring a PI to look into his past?
Bad. And there was a lot of good times in our relationship. I would say I was happy 90% of the time, despite the financial struggles that we're going.
And then here she feels the need to prove that it wasn't all bad. And this is why she got left and he didn't, and she didn't get to leave him. It was because she was just so caught up on when things were good. But when things were good, they were a lie too. Not just she's caught up on when things were bad, when everything was going wrong, it was a lie. It was a lie. It was because he was lying. It was, even when the things were good, it was a lie. So she feels the need to explain that it wasn't all bad and da 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 da. And this is exactly why he left her, when she should have been the one to leave him.
Going through, and he was what I thought was a very selfless and caring individual, and the other people in my life would also attest to that.
He played a character and he played all of you. That's what narcissists do. They're good at charming. They're good at putting on, different personalities and personas. I always tell you that if a man is overly, or if a person is just overly invested in different characters on movies and TV shows, they study those characters and then they reenact them in real life. They're crazy. Have you ever dealt with a narc? They're crazy. Literally sat down next to this narc that I was in a relationship with, and I watched him and I studied him. And one of the movies that he studied was Marcus from Boomerang. And I sat there and I watched him study the character Marcus, and I'm like, oh, that's who you're trying to be. It's like, and then it wasn't just that, like, it was other shows and other characters, and he would just put on these characters and play them different at different times and things like that. Another one that he really liked was Love Jones, and I forget the character in Love Jones, but the main character, I forget his name. God, I forget his name, but he watched movies like that and reenacted those characters. Like that's where he got his charm. That's when he got his game. Like he learned that. But then he would watch like other Darius. He would watch like other movies and shows and things like that. He would just always like reenact. And this is why they're clever, because we'll get into how he was able to scam other people that are like, very intelligent and things like that. But it's like when they get into these personas and characters, like they're really good actors because they're embodying a character that they watched on a show, read in a book or something like that, and they believe in themselves so good that they act very well playing that character, but they've studied that character so much to where it's so easy and normal for them. It's crazy.
There were a lot of times that he did not have money in his account, but when he did, he was very, very generous with it. He was the type of person that would buy whatever people need, would treat them, and I viewed him as selfless. He also was the type of person that would drop any.
And again, ladies, women confuse men being selfless with manipulation. That man gave to manipulate. A generous man is giving from a selfless place. This man gave to manipulate you so that he could benefit. So he only gave to manipulate you. He did not give generously. He did not give selflessly. He gave in a manipulative way. And it's really sad because women get impressed, they perk up when a man gives to them. And it's sad, most likely it's because they've never been given to by a man, or they are so eager to be given by a man that they overlook how this man is only giving because it benefits him. So all the trips that he paid for, he benefited from that. Anything that he gave to her, he benefited from it. Whether it was he was able to manipulate her easily, he was able to get her to believe that he had money when he really didn't. I mean, every time he gave, it was to manipulate. He was never generous. He was never selfless within his giving. He was just a manipulator, and he was love bombing her. So she's confusing him being generous with just love bombing to further manipulate. That's all that is. So she's caught up on that, and she's trying to prove that it wasn't all bad, but it was all bad because it was all a lie, because he manipulated you.
Anything at any time to help someone in need. So because of those reasons, I truly believed he was a good quality human. I now know that a lot of those things were self-serving, but I wanted to make a note of that so that you guys didn't think it was just like all bad and all like money exchange every single day. It was not like that at all. The other thing I want to bring up is the comments. Obviously, I've gotten some negative ones and some positive ones. I want to speak on the positive ones first. Thank you so much. I did not expect to be receiving this much empathy and compassion and not wanting to talk to me. So I'm like, can we?
Oh, he stonewalled her. That's when I knew she was really dealing with a narc. Stonewalling is when they basically just stop talking to you. Like they won't talk to you, they won't communicate, they kind of ice you out and leave you out in the cold, and they manipulate you by doing that. They flip the script and try to make it seem like you're in the wrong, you did something to me, when really they're in the wrong. And stonewalling is just how they further manipulate you to feel guilty about how you're in the wrong. Girl. So he stonewalled her in her house, in her bedroom. And I'm just like, so he went upstairs in your bedroom, closed the door, and you went and slept on the couch? I would have called the police. You got to go. You can't stay here, but ain't no way you're going to be up there in my room, in my house where I pay bills. My name is on the deed. And you locking me out of my own bedroom? You go stay on the couch. I'm going to stay up here because this my shit. That's crazy.
Can we please talk? He's like, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So basically, I'm on
I don't know. I don't.
And it kind of worked out because we have some really good friends that they have cars that they use for Toro that they own. And we had picked up one of their cars because they were out of town earlier that day.
Right.
And their car was outside and the keys were right on the counter. And so I was like, you know what? I know the PIN code to his Danish card. I bet it's the same PIN code for his Chase card. And so what I did was I grabbed the key to the car, my friend's car, and I like kind of ordered him. And so he packed up the watches in the boxes and then he.
Girl, this was the stupidest thing she ever did. This is the stupidest. She gave a gambler, a man that struggles with a gambling addiction, a credit card. Girl, I threw my phone. I said, you did what? So I was like, girl, you did what? Girl, what? I could, girl, I was, oh. Mm.
May of 2025, we decided that we wanted to build up his credit score so that we could maybe buy a house within the next couple of years. And his credit was basically zero because he had just moved to the States. And so I had a credit card that we had just paid off. It had a zero balance. And so I was like, okay, let's add you on this card. And so we added him, and he had no plans to even really use this card. It was just, for me to use for like groceries. We were just really trying to build up his credit. And so I looked at the balance one day, and it was super high, and I was so confused. And I started going through the details, and I saw that there was a cash advance for $7,000. And I was like, what is going on? Mind you, I'm not home. I had just finished a showing, so I'm in my car about to head home, and I call him, and I'm like, what is this cash advance? And I go, you better tell me the truth immediately. I do not want any bullshit. And he comes out and he tells me, I relapsed again. I've been gambling again. And that was the very first time that I just came out and asked him, and he said yes. And keep in mind, his last relapse was October. This was now June. And so obviously I'm hurt. I'm sad, but I'm also like so grateful that he told me the truth. I remember the first thing that came out of my mouth was, thank you so much for telling me the truth, because I just was grateful that.
Remember when I said good liars tell you 50, maybe 80% of the truth, but the rest is lies? He never told you the truth, sis. He never told you the truth because he never told you the full story. He only told you partial truth. So yeah, he's gambling again, but what about all the other stuff that he's been doing behind your back? So I need the women to catch on to that. Okay. So then you'll never have a liar in your face, playing in your face. Because, girl, they be bold, especially the ones that give 50, 80% of the truth, but not the full truth. Them the best liars. But girl, they could never play in your face. Okay, get your notes out. Let me help you, sis. They never gonna be no one will be able to lie. You'll be able to spot it. Your spirit gonna be like bullshit. Quick too. As soon as the shit leave their mouth. Bullshit. 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 Okay. Absolutely not. Like we playing some spades. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Let me see your hand. You lying. It's seriously, as soon as it leaves their mouth. So she allowed his lies to override her inner voice and her intuition.
Me. I'm like, what if everything's a lie? And I don't know why, like, my subconscious has been thinking this all along, but this is the first time I fully am asking myself this question. And so I'm laying in my bed and I start playing with the app Revolut. And I start looking at it, and that's the app that he sent the money to my mom. And obviously, he sent me screenshots. I sent the screenshot to my mom to verify it's going to be hitting on August 14th. And so I start playing around with the app, and I just, I wanted to see what it would be like if I wanted to send a big payment. And the way Revolut works is you have to load the money into Revolut before you can send it to anyone. So I'm just playing around with it, and I do a test transaction, and I'm trying to send $10,000, even though I don't have 10K in Revolut to send. So I click schedule payment, and I put just whatever date, and I see the next page, which is the review page. And that's when I realized that was the same screen that he showed me and that I sent to my mom, saying that he sent the payment. And what he did was he cropped out the schedule payment button so it looked like he had sent the money, but he really did not. So at this point, my entire body is shaking. In the closet, like, it's fine. Like, I'm just sitting here just so confused.
So he left her. This is narcissistic discard. Oh, wait. Sorry, y'all. What happened? Hold on. Did it? Okay, there we go. Not the entire screen. Current application. Oh, wait. How? Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay. Um, but what I was trying to say was he ditched her, and most likely the reason why he got rid of her was probably because he had a better scam or something more promising came up, or his lies were catching up to him. I really don't know which one it could be. So yeah. So he discarded her, and she took it as, oh my God, it's his disease. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
And he said, you only love me when there's money in my account, which is crazy because there was tons of times where there wasn't money in his account. And I'm just still trying to talk to him. So I'm like, I love you. You're the love of my life. He goes, you were the love of my life. And I feel so hurt, but I'm also like, this can't be him talking. This has to be the disease. This has to be the addiction that's talking. And so I'm still trying to communicate to him. And he's like, you know what? Don't worry. I'm going to fly back to Denmark. I'm going to get the money from the business account, make sure you're whole. And I also have received an offer to be a CEO of a company in Denmark making $1 million.
And this, honestly, the way he was talking to her during this time, he was showing her the truth of who he really is. And for whatever reason, she just didn't want to believe it. But again, he had emotionally manipulated her a lot up until this point. So
And so now I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's for sure spiraling. Like, this is 100% the addiction. And it's insane because at this point I should have just been like, okay, go buy it and be done with him. But I'm very much still fighting for the relationship because I don't think that there's anything crazy big that we can't navigate and come through together. So we're not making any progress in the conversation. So I leave. I go to my friend Rebecca. I said, let's go for a drive. So we take her daughter, we go to the lake, and I tell her everything. And I just break down. And she's in shock because she had no idea that I was dealing with this along with most people. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want him to leave me. And at this point, it's crazy because I had definitely thought to myself, like, what life would be like without him, and almost was like mentally preparing myself for it. But I always thought it was gonna be on my.
ladies, this is the kava plant. The taste isn't like, oh my God, it's so refreshing. It's ginger, like it has ginger in it. And I put ginger and mango in there, sugar-free mango and pineapple and ginger. That's what this is. But it's the kava plant. So I'm not really drinking it for the taste. You know, when you're on your healthy kick, it's just we're not really drinking for taste. Okay, so you may like it though. Some people like a ginger taste. Let's see. 325. So I wanted to talk about how narcs are intuitive as hell. Like narcs are very intuitive. So they know when you're emotionally detaching from them. They can feel it. They also know when you're psychically, like psychologically considering leaving them. So they try to leave you before you leave them. So he knew that his time with her was coming to an end. So he wanted to beat her to the punch and leave her before she left him. And that's basically why he was discarding her in this way and right currently now, because she was already thinking about leaving, but she hadn't left yet. And so he was just trying to beat her to the punch. They can feel when they know you're about to leave. And some say they have psychic abilities. Um, I feel like partially they are really good at weaponizing their dark empathy against people who are in their light empathy. Um, Also, they're very intuitive. That's how they're good manipulators, good liars. This is why they're able to con so many people. They use their gifts to take advantage of people. That's just what they do. So, what else? So yeah, he knew that his time was running up. So, or he knew that his time was running out. So he decided to discard her. And I feel like when narcs are in this position of discarding you, that's when the truth about how they really feel about you comes out. So listen closely. When they're discarding you, like that's how they really feel about you. Because they don't feel like they need you anymore. They don't feel like they can use you for anything anymore. And so they just want to move on to their next lick, their next what do they call it, their next oh my gosh, not victim, their next, because they use people's energies and resources. I always forget. Not, it's not victim, it's a narcissistic term. I cannot even think about it. Let me see if it comes to me.
My terms, but the fact that he was leaving me.
Their next supply, their next supply. This is why they can never be alone. They're always hopping from one supply to the next, and sometimes they use multiple supplies at once.
He just like put me in like this like fight or flight, and I just wanted to fight for him. So while we're at the lake, he sends me a message and says, "Are you all gone? If yes, do I have enough time to pack my suitcase?" And I go, "We drove to the lake." And I said, "I love you. We're gonna figure this out. Let's take some space, but flying to Denmark is not the answer." And he says, "I have made up my mind, and I'm not changing my decision. We are both exhausted. Our individual peace has been at stake for too long, and we need to protect that. We tried. God knows we fought for it, but the battle is over. Let's find peace each on our own. Let me know when you're heading back. I packed the first suitcase. I might do the other tomorrow. It's a bit difficult for me as well." So after being at the lake, I go upstairs trying to talk to him, and he's just not even wanting to be within like 5 feet of me. And I'm fresh air, and I look at the doorbell camera, and I see that he's left, and he had two big.
It was crazy because at this point she was making his addiction her problem.
Check luggage is packed, and then his carry-on. And I see that he only left with his carry-on and his work bag. And so I send him a text. I go, "Take your space tonight, and remember that I love you, and I'm grateful that you're my husband, and I will never stop fighting for you. Good night, my love." And at this point, I'm angry, but I'm being nice because I've done so much research on addiction, and I know whenever an addict is spiraling, the worst thing you can do is fight them back. So I'm just trying to be calm and be peaceful so that he can find a space to be able to come and be honest with me. And he said, Wrap your head around the fact that I am not your husband anymore. We are done. Today has shown me that I won't have anything to do with you other than settling my debt. After that, I can breathe again. So obviously I had a horrible night. I cried myself to sleep. The next morning I wake up and my best friend says, hey, I'm gonna go to my other friend's house. She had another best friend that
Then she found out that this man scammed her little sister.
he took $3K from me, and I am just silent for like 5 seconds. And I want you all to picture a horror movie in your mind and picture the screams. You give money to
Then she found out he scammed some of her other friends.
my ex, and he goes, yeah, I did. And then I just start scream crying on the phone, and then I tell him everything that's happening. And it was so heartbreaking because like I had to tell people these things, and then I would be so emotional, so wrecked, and then I would gather myself, and then I would realize that there's another person I have to call. So after I called Chris, I called my friend Rob and asked him, did you loan money to my ex? Right away. And
then more lies were exposed.
And that's when I started feeling a lot of resentment. I know like it's not fair to put the blame on them because I know they're not responsible for his actions, but I absolutely felt so much resentment towards them at that moment. So then I tell them, I'm like, he's lied about so much stuff. He lied about going to the Olympics. He lied about the home he lived in. And then I thought to myself, the royal title. So I asked them, I go, do you guys have a royal title? And the look on their face, they were horrified, absolutely horrified. The lie that he had told my cousin was that
I just can't believe anybody bought that shit. Girl, you know what? As a black woman, I just want to know what it feels like to be white just for a day. Never for a lifetime. Just for a day. I just want to see what the hell, like, I just want to know what can you get away with? Because I always tell black people, I'm like, listen, I grew up black in a suburban area. I'm a black girl, suburban girl, grew up, right? And I always tell people, I'm like, white people do crooked shit, y'all. Let me repeat white people do crooked shit. All right? Let me repeat. White people do crooked shit. It's not just black people. It's not just minorities. White people do crooked shit. They just get away with it. All right? They just get away with the shit. That's it. I've seen what white people can get away with. I'm like, whoa. So when y'all try to put them on some type of pedestal, I just really get disgusted. I really do. Because I've seen some crooked shit that I wouldn't even think about. The type of crooked shit that's organized crime. And I'm talking about like organized professional crimes. Like, girl, they into some crooked shit. You think the hood is into some crooked shit? The hood is just trying to feed the community, right? People in the community, they're just trying to make a way. They're just trying to make it to the next day. How you have white privilege and you doing crooked shit? I feel like that shit works. And then you using your white privilege to get away with doing the crooked shit. Y'all don't feel like that shit is worse? I feel like that shit is worse. Seriously. Seriously. Like, prime example, it was exposed during the whole church situation, right? Where this woman was calling around asking churches for help. And a lot of mega churches, a lot of white churches were out here not wanting to help that starving baby, right? But if you went to the hood and you bumped into a dope boy, right? He would have gave you some food. He would have gave you some formula. He would have walked into that store and be like, what do you need? What do you need? Right? So it's like, it's like the way y'all, it's these type of black people. It's not all black people, but it's like the way you have been conditioned and brainwashed. I really beg you to let that shit go. You have been lied to. You have been programmed. You have been bamboozled. And they just get away with stuff. That's it. And that's what you hanging on to. I mean, when you have good PR, that's easy to do. When you're putting the images out here of how you look, how you carry yourself, when you have Jesus, white Jesus, to lean on, when you can use that and weaponize that and paint you as to be like this good moral standing person, of course, and I just need black people to let that shit go. Please let it go. These are the same people that had us in shackles. These are the same people that was feeding us to our children to alligators. These are the same people that boiled Nat Turner. I mean, be so freaking for real. So let that stuff go. Is it all white people? Absolutely not. I've been around some spicy whites, the hippies, the liberals, They all right in my book. You know, the spicy whites, they a different type of vibe. Totally different. I had to learn that at a very young age too. I'm like, damn, it's not all white people. There's some good white people out here. But it's them ones, and you know what them ones that I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So let's continue. They was doing all type of stuff. Just wait for my conspiracy video because we gonna get into this conspiracies. I owe y'all a conspiracy video. We're gonna get into that next. Okay, I'm just going down the list. All right, so let's see. Where are we at? Oh, she finally talked to his ex. And remember she blocked the ex on Instagram. Why do girls do that? Why do y'all block the ex? I get it. You don't want her watching and you never really know, but it's like, girl, talk to her. See what the tea is. As long as it doesn't mess up your life or interfere with your peace or anything like that, talk to her and see what information she has instead of just blocking her. That shit weird. That's how he manipulates you more.
She also told me that the godson of the plumber was never his godson, so that was also a lie. Obviously, he never invested in that plumbing business. That was all stupid, all lies. And I asked her, I was like, 7 years is a long time. Like, what pushed you to finally leave? She's like, I just realized he wasn't going to change. And, for a while, I knew I should have left him, but I felt like I was just in deep sunk cost fallacy. I feel that too. And then I asked her, I was like, when did you guys
Even his mama.
They broke up on December 23rd of 2022. So do y'all remember that story about his dad being sick in the hospital and him getting in a fight with his sister and the back surgery and all the bullshit? It was all a lie.
Oh, ladies, let's act shocked. No way, girl, shut up. Girl. So he didn't have back issues and his daddy wasn't sick? No way. Girl, I knew that shit was a lie when he told you when you told the story. I knew that shit was a lie. I'm like, and you bought that? You bought that?
He was living with her. They broke up. She left him 4 months after we started dating.
Really?
At this point, guys, I was numb. Like, I couldn't even say this man cheated on me. He cheated on her. I was the other woman. And I was so numb to the cheating. I didn't even, it was just like, okay, let's add something else to the list. I don't even think I cried. I was just like, well, what's next? Let's see. And it truly felt like for that 24 hours, I was living the same nightmare over and over and over and over again. So at that point, I'm like, this is my.
Then then she find out, well, she had to tell her family that they were scammed.
Family. I didn't even know how to pick myself up. And then I heard my dad. I was on FaceTime with my dad, and he just goes, "You need to be strong." And I immediately get up, sit on the couch, and he looked at me. He's like, "You need to be strong." He said, "What he took is a drop in the bucket, and we're gonna get through this as a family."
Now, you know what? I could say a lot of things about this woman, but she has a community. She does. She has a village. She has a support system because if I would have been in this family and we would have got scammed because of a man that you chose, girl, it'd take me a while to talk to you again. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't talk to you ever again, but it'd take me some time. She got a good family. She do. She got some good family. She got some good friends. Cause the way that everyone is just so understanding is shocking to me. I'm like, damn. So no one is like, girl, you da da da. So, I can say a lot of things about this woman, and I see why her comments are not turned off on her TikTok. She got a good support system behind her. She really do. She really do. I'm inspired by that. I am. I'm like, damn, girl. They offering favors. They're so understanding. They want to be there for you. They want to work this out with you. They want to support you through it. I ain't gonna, that's beautiful to see. That really is. She got a village for real. So I'll give her that. Then she finds out that this man scammed his potential mentor, or who she thought was going to mentor him.
He just felt like he wanted to take my ex under his wing, and he wanted to find him a great job, and he was also working in tech similar to my ex. So this man had taken him to car shows. He met billionaires and made so many connections through this man. He just really wanted to be a mentor for him. And so his name popped in my head, and I was like, Mom, I gotta get off the phone. So I get off the phone and I call him and I go, hey, it's Onyega. And he goes, hey. And I go, is everything okay? He goes, how can I help you? And I go, did my ex take money from you? And he says, that motherfucker took $30,000 from me.
Dang.
And I was just so shook. Like, another victim, and this man was just trying to help.
Now, listen, another reason why I see her as a victim is because it wasn't just her. And this told me a lot, in my opinion. I'm like, damn, he was able to scam him. Just everybody. That tells me that this man is well seasoned. Okay, that even though she is very naive, this man is well seasoned. So even if she was smarter, right? And this is me being fair. Even if she was smarter, she could have still been taken advantage of. Even if she wasn't desperate, she could have still been taken advantage of. Because you telling me all of these people around you were just scammed? Natalie and her husband, your daddy, your mama, then this guy. I'm just it's like that tells me that this man is well seasoned and he gets around and he may even do this as a living. He may be a professional scammer and criminal. Like this is his lifestyle. That's what she was dealing with. So when people are like, "Oh, I don't really see her as a victim," I do. I actually do. She's not a perfect victim, but she actually is. All of these people he was able to con. That tells me that he's good at what he does. That's all.
Help him. That's all he was guilty of, was trying to help him. And so I asked him, I go, how did he get all this money from you? And he said,
Yeah, he internet.
well, he told me he was investing in this land. He was building a quadruplex and he had to rerun the water lines and he was looking for investors. He said they had 10 to 15 business meetings before this man.
That's a
gave
lot,
him a
y'all.
dime. And he
10 to 15 business meetings. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. That is a lot. But I don't think y'all understand how smart narcissists are. Narcissists are very smart. Like, I'm not trying to give them too much credit. It's crazy because honestly, if they used all of these skills to do good, girl, they would be so freaking successful in life. But they do it to con people. Like, it's insane. It is insane.
he said, listen, Anyeka, I'm a man that's found a lot of success in my life. I have $1.5 million worth of cars. I have $500,000 worth of watches.
I don't know.
This man had to work hard to pull one over on me. He said, I have loaded guns in every single room in my house. I didn't know if this man was a part of a group. And I asked him,
That's crazy.
He's up to me. He goes, well, Anyeka, you're Nigerian. Like, that's a scamming capital of the world. I didn't know if you were in on it. And that's when the irony hit me. I'm Nigerian and I'm a proud Nigerian. I tell people it's my biggest flex. But the country's not perfect. We have our strengths, we have our weaknesses. But one of our weaknesses is that there's a ton of scammers. Versus Denmark, who's considered to be this prestigious, wealthy, happy country. So the fact that a Danish man pulled this over on a Nigerian, or Nigerians collectively, it just blew my mind. And that's when he says, I'm going to tell you something else that's probably going to blow your mind. And I said, what is it? And we will continue on in part 24. The Danish deception, part 24. So I'm on the phone with his mentor friend, former friend, and he tells me, well, you want to know what else is going to blow your mind? And I said, sure, tell me. He goes, I actually filed a lawsuit against him. And I said,
Damn.
you did what? He said, I filed a lawsuit against him and I served him via courier. And I was like, wait, what? He had just a separate property.
Girl, that man was playing her. That's what I'm saying. This man is so smooth. That's why I'm like, no, this woman was definitely a victim. She was stupid. But like I said, she could have been smarter and she could have still got scammed. Ain't no way this man can scam all of these different people with different backgrounds, different levels of education, right? And he just went undetected. That tells me that he is good at what he fucking does. So y'all beating this lady up, and I'm like I said, she could have been smarter and still got scammed. That's just the truth. That's the truth. People saying he running amok over there in Mexico. So that just tells me he's good at he scammed in sister talked about how he scammed in China. I mean, it's just it is what it is. Now her she has some issues though. She really do. Like the colonial mentality that needs to be checked. It really does. So I'll give the internet that, but even if she was smarter, like even if she didn't have this biasness or this biases, um she could have still got scammed. That's the reality of the story time. I think people don't look at it like that, but I'm like, damn, you just going around scamming people? That's crazy. You live a life of a scammer. That's what it gives. So then she finally divorced him.
Property state. So my house, which I purchased before I met him, was my home for the taking, and he could not have any piece of it. And I had not put his name on the deed. I was about to, but I didn't. Thank you, God. Obviously, my car was mine, so really he couldn't take anything from me, which made me very, very happy. So
We filed the petition, and I didn't hear from my ex for quite some time. And I'm sitting in a therapy session, and I get a text from him after not hearing from him for about a week. And he's basically saying,
Listen, we talked about the imperialism that I did a breakdown about that, gave a little history lesson. So that's another, like, I'm not gonna lie that his white privilege plays a major part in how he's able to con people across the world. I mean, come on. I mean, that's why I said I just want to know what it would be like to be white for a day and see how much shit I can get away with white privilege. I just want to see. Honestly, I just want to see. So I'm pretty sure he uses his white privilege to con people all across the world because he can. And it's just the world that we live in.
that, you know, he still loves me and he really wants me back, but he also really needs his passport and his green card back. And he said, just so you know, it's illegal to hold on to someone's passport and green card. And I was like, you want to talk to me about legality? And then he said,
Crazy.
talk to me, text me back. He goes, file a lawsuit with me or work with me. And I'm like, you want to talk to me about lawsuits? And so I reached out to my lawyer. I'm like, hey, what's going on with the docs? Like, you think it's going to be happening soon? And he was working. She sits down and she looks at me and she says, I saw your ex last night.
And then this is when I started looking at this girl sideways. Because I keep it balanced and I keep it real. I do. But this part really pissed me off because women like this, I see why you find yourself in these type of situations. I do. So let's get into this. Her friend saw him with another woman, and this is what she has to say.
And I was like, I was with you till 1:30. Where did you see him? She was like, my building. And she lives in a building that is residences and a hotel and like restaurants and a cocktail bar. There's a lot of people in this establishment. And she was getting home because she lives in the residences. And she saw my ex with a woman that, let me just say, based on the way she was described to me, I would think she was a street hooker, 100%. And
This is why listen. I came in here telling y'all I see why she got dragged. I do. Girl, what? And it's like, why is this information important? So that you can feel better about this, how this man left your ass after he conned you out of $30,000? It makes you feel better? I just, it was weird to me. I was like, and why is this information relevant? Because you saw him with another woman and because you, according to how she looks, this is what judgy is. So she talked about, oh, I'm not judgy, but you judging this woman and based off of the description that your friend gave, she's a street hooker, but you're not judgy, but you didn't want to judge and discern this man's home and how it did not make sense that he had a royal title, he was in the Olympics, and he lived in the home that he lived in. That's why we listen. We have birds on the ground, and we need to get them back in the sky. We can get rid of the third and fourth baby mama, and we can get the birds off the ground back in the sky because this is just getting ridiculous, y'all. It really is getting ridiculous. I don't judge. I don't judge. I don't judge. But you labeling this woman a streetwalker, and why does that make you feel better? That you feel like he didn't get better right after you? Like I'm confused. Why do you even care? Like, I would be like, oh, like, if I heard this story, I'd be like, oh, thank God he's not bothering me. But I do feel bad for her, though. Like, that's how I'm like, because I'm like, oh, he's off my hands. Sadly, that's how I would have been. That's how I would have like, oh, thank God. I wouldn't give a damn about what this woman looked like. I'm just glad he's out of my life. Like, he literally came in and destroyed my fucking life. I wouldn't give two fucks. Damn.
it was also kind of communicated to me that she might be like a 1 out of 10. And my ex was with her.
A 1 out of 10? And do you see her ego on her face? This is what I be talking about. This is what this is what I be talking about. Girl, and you didn't win a damn thing. Like, I just a 1 out of 10. Oh, that boosted your ego, didn't it? This is crazy. Let's rewind that.
In this establishment, and she was getting home because she lives in the residences, and she saw my ex with a woman that, let me just say, based on the way she was described to me, I would think she was a street hooker, 100%. And
Oh
it was
yeah.
also kind of communicated to me that she might be like a 1 out of 10. And my ex was with her, and he was holding her jacket and getting cash out of the ATM at 2:15 in the morning. So, you know, we all have our guesses on what that could have been. So she tells me, and I'm like, okay, so cool. He's hanging out with prostitutes in public. Love that. And at this point, I had not announced our breakup, and you guys know I did a post telling people we weren't together. This was like before that. And so at that point, I felt so disrespected because, you know,
You now feel disrespected because he's publicly embarrassing you? This is why Black women are responding the way that they are. Like this is why. It wasn't an issue until he publicly started to embarrass you, and now you feel disrespected. It wasn't disrespect before. It wasn't disrespect that he asked you for $30,000. It wasn't disrespect before he lied to your parents and all of that. Like scammed your whole family and friends. It wasn't disrespect when he borrowed all that in crypto from the crypto people. Like what? It wasn't until he stepped out with an alleged hooker, a street crawler, walker, whatever the hell, where you're like, it's just so disrespectful. I was like, nobody told you to force this relationship with this man. Nobody told you to post this man to your social media. No one told you to continue this relationship when you saw and you knew that he had a gambling addiction. These were your choices. And this is where your choices landed you. And you're judging this girl from a surface level place, but you didn't discern this man from a spiritual place. That's crazy. That's crazy. And see, I see, and the reason why I'm pointing this out is it exposes her mentality. And I see why people are like, she's not a victim, she's not a victim. Two things can be true. She's just not a perfect victim. And she was dumb and naive as hell. Okay. All of these things can be true. But she is a victim though. Okay, she is. And there's a list of other victims. So she might as well grab a ticket like it's at the DMV, because it gives that. It gives you are at the DMV and you just need to grab a damn ticket because you are one of many victims. So it's just, I was so disappointed when I got to this part. I was like, I see. And then this is how you decided to leave the story time. Like this was 4 hours long, and this is basically the last impression that you leave on people, and then you wonder why people are dragging you on social media.
people know me in Dallas and they're gonna see him with a hooker.
Right.
And it's just so disrespectful to me. And I'm like, after everything you've done, like you're still going, you're still not finished. And so I sent a message to his sister just saying that I'm absolutely disgusted with him. So I tell her everything. And my friend actually got photographs of this man holding her jacket. Like she got the photos. And she asked me, are you comfortable with me reaching out to him and letting him know? I said, absolutely, I don't care. So she reaches out to him. And then he sends me a text and says, I was not buying sex last night. I was buying weed. He said, I was having a really dark night, and for the first time in a long time, I went out to drink, and I haven't been sleeping, and I met someone that would sell me weed so I could finally sleep again. I don't appreciate you going with that information to my family. And then he said, called out my friend by name, and Nicole needs to watch her mouth because she was looking all drugged up. He didn't know that I was with her 30 minutes before she saw him. She was sober. We had had like 4 glasses of wine that night.
She need to rewire her ego. She needs to rewire her ego. Her ego doesn't work in her favor. It actually works against her. And I talk about this all the time. It involves shadow work where you need to rewire your ego. Her ego does not protect her. Her ego leaves her unprotected, and she needs to rewire it to where her ego actually protects her. Your ego is supposed to protect your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is attached to your self-worth. Her ego does not protect her self-esteem, and it does not protect her self-worth because she doesn't know how to identify it. So her ego actually puts her in a place where she can be lied to further, she can be manipulated, she can be jerked around further because her ego cares. In this situation, after this man has done everything that he has done, scam your family and friends, I wouldn't give a fuck if I saw this man with another man. I wouldn't give two fucks. If I saw him giving back shots to another man, I wouldn't care. I'm like, oh my God, he left me alone, girl. Woo, girl, that stress is out of my life. I got my peace back. Woo, girl, he terrorizing somebody else's life. I wouldn't give a damn. I would not give a damn. But she does not have an ego that actually protects her, like pride, like no way in hell I'm giving this man any money. No way in hell I'm giving this man $30,000. Her ego does not protect her. Her ego leaves her overly exposed. And it's because she gives from a very egotistical place, like trying to give from obligation because she wants approval, acceptance, and validation. Her ego puts her in a very vulnerable place with people where people can lie and manipulate because she's trying to prove herself. She needs to restructure her ego And it truly needs to be in place to protect her self-esteem, and it just doesn't. And it doesn't protect her self-worth at all. And this is why she still cares. It's the reason why she still cares.
To you guys, this has been the most difficult thing I have ever done in my life. And y'all's support means the world to me. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Danish deception. Welcome to the Danish.
Enjoy this shit, girl. We did not enjoy this shit. This is a cautionary tale, though. Let's get into narcs. I got triggered when she said, "Oh, he was a good listener." No, he was studying you. He was observing you. He's not a good listener. He only listened when it benefited him. And it benefited him to study you, to know you, and to learn you. He wasn't a good listener. He was just a good manipulator. So again, everything leads back to him being self-serving. So she thinks, oh, he was such a good listener. You mean he was taking notes on you? He was learning how he could take advantage of you and manipulate you and later use you? He was never a good listener.
Deception, the conclusion. So I just wanted to make a quick video to kind of like put a little bow on top of this present I just gave y'all. I'm obviously not a psychologist, but I have diagnosed him myself with narcissistic borderline personality disorder. If you're a psychologist, I'd love to know your thoughts, so comment below. But 100% I think he has that mental disorder in addition to his gambling addiction, which is just a recipe for disaster. I know a lot of you are wondering, how the hell did this man con this many people? And this is what I think. Someone might disagree with me. Number one is looks. He's very charming, charismatic man. I've mentioned that multiple times. He's highly, highly, highly intelligent. He knows how to play with people's weaknesses. Like,
girl, he's white. 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 That's it. Let's move on. Talking about, well, I don't understand how he was able to. Well, this is what I think. Oh, cut the bullshit. He's white.
I think that's why every single person he reached out to, he had different lies. He was a great listener and it was really easy to connect with him. And because of that, he was able to build so much trust with all of these people. And him being from Denmark didn't help. I feel like that piece was very critical in all of his different cons. I don't know how he conned people in Denmark. I'm sure he had some other way to do it. But yes, I have already received a lot of messages from people saying that my ex also conned them. I actually talked to a girl that dated him while he was with me and his ex. So now there's someone that was added into that mix. I also know that there's a group of people at a company he used to work with, and he conned tens of thousands of dollars from that company, and he actually ended up getting fired. So I'm learning a lot. Another ex-girlfriend reached out to me. I'm learning a lot. So at this time, I'm going to tell all of you, I'm not collecting tips because I'm building a case. My goal is to get this man in prison. He does not deserve to be a part of society. And I'm trying to build up as much evidence as I possibly can. I'm not going to name his name. I don't need to. But if you have any tips, or if you've also been a victim of this psychopath, send an email to danishdeceptiontips@gmail.com. Side note, should I share with you guys the tips as I get them? Could that be like a little fun?
Girl, don't try to help us. Go back to therapy, heal in solitude, get the lawsuit going, check back in with us in a few years. Okay? Because, girl, don't be trying to give us no tips. You're going to hurt yourself. I don't know why people they put out a story time and then they feel like they're an expert. No, not yet. Later down the line. Not yet. It's too soon. It's too soon. This happened. This man left you. Yeah, and it was narcissistic abuse. Girl, that's going to take some time. That's going to take some work. That's going to take some deep reflection. That's going to take some healing. That's going to take some time. It's too soon.
I didn't think I was going to make another video about victim blaming, but I received this message and I could not bite my tongue anymore because, y'all, what are we doing? I received countless messages from victims similar to this, and it's just so heartbreaking because I thought that me sharing my story would give them the courage to come forward and share their stories too, but they're seeing a lot of the backlash and it's being directed towards the victim and not the abuser, and that does not make any sense to me. People go through situations similar to what I went through. They're already experiencing so much shame, so much embarrassment, so much emotional trauma, and these comments are actually contributing to the silence of other victims, and because of that, you're giving the power back to the abusers. Scammers don't prey on stupid people. They prey on vulnerability, hope, love, and most importantly, trust. If y'all have any negative comments to say, feel free to send them directly to me because I can handle it. Y'all can call me a pick-me girl, y'all can call me desperate, but guess what? The only people who I care about their opinions are the people that know me as a person. A lot of y'all are making this into a race thing, which does not make any sense to me because
Girl, see, this is why you getting dragged. Trying to make this into a race thing, but it's like, girl, this man was able to con your entire family because he was white. That's facts. And if you can't see that, you don't need to be out here giving tips and helping people. Absolutely not. You haven't sat down long enough to really introspect, reflect, and heal from the situation. Talking about stuff. I don't understand why people are making this into a race issue. Well, maybe it's because all the shit that he was able to get away with, no one questioned the shit like, this is suspicious. Don't y'all think this is suspicious? This is a little suspicious. No one thought it was suspicious. Hell, I was over on the Hispanic side of TikTok, and even the Hispanics were like, yeah, he wouldn't have been able to con us because we gossip. Girl, my TT and I would have told my TT and my TT would have told such and such, and then the next thing you know, girl, the whole family would have knew because we gossip. You're not about to come up in here and scam all of us. It's impossible. Then I was on the Asian side of TikTok. They like, nah, we ain't fucking with it either. Then I so I'm just like, okay. So black people, we not crazy. Cause you know it's one thing when we be like, girl, you stupid. That's great. Girl, it's bad when everybody's saying, girl, your whole family? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. So I did. I wanted to go into other spaces in other communities, and I wanted to see what other people were saying. And everybody's saying the same damn thing, girl. It ain't just black people. And why are you singling us out? I just, girl, come on now. Even white women are chiming in like, girl, what? Like, it ain't just us.
a lot of black men and black women
Girl.
scam all the time. I just watched a documentary on Netflix where a woman got scammed out of $2 million. And guess what? Her husband was black. And this might not be your intention, but when you're blaming race, you're actually minimizing the fraud and the actual damage that was caused by the scam. So we're on the topic of race.
Girl, we're not minimizing it. We are amplifying it. We're not minimizing it. We're amplifying how with white privilege, people can do crooked shit and get away with it. That's just facts. I've been on the receiving end of this. I have. I've been on the receiving end of this. It's just facts. Like, it's just how the world works. We don't make up the freaking rules. I mean, she acting like we make up the rules. We just speaking on what the hell happened and why it was able to happen in the way that it was able to happen. You think a black man would have been able to get away with some shit like this? To this level? Absolutely not. Where he was able to con within his career, he was able to in a career that's like really well established. He was able to con families. He was able to con internationally. No, like no. I would like to see it. There's already been a Netflix what was it? It was a Netflix documentary, and I forget the name of that one. That was called The Swindler. So at this level, we will probably never see a black man be able to get away with this much stuff. Seriously. You know, they got to scam differently. But a white man, it's just the reason why he was able to con people out of $300,000. And that's all on your story time. This is based on your story time only. That doesn't include other people. So if he scammed your people, your community of people out of $300,000, how much has he scammed total within his career of being a professional criminal? Like, these are things, come on now, come on now, come on now, come on now. And that's why I'm like, I give the girl grace because I'm like, it's clear that this man is a professional criminal. She was just dumb and naive and he was able to get an easier lick off of her. But listen, to have 10 to 15 business meetings convincing a man to another man to invest $30,000 into your business plan or moves or whatever, that says that that man is really good at what he does. That's all. But sis, we're disappointed in you. We're disappointed that you allowed your guard down. You trusted this man simply because he was white. That's just the reality. You were so trusting of a complete stranger. Come on. That tells me a lot about your mentality. That's just facts. You wouldn't have trusted Tyrone the same way.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, the most hateful messages I've been seeing are coming from black women, and that's actually really surprising to me because I thought we were here to protect each other and lift each other's voices. So what?
Girl, this is protection. This is protection so that you never end up in a situation like this again, ever again.
Going on. I'm not gonna.
How much you want to bet her therapist is white? Put a 1 in the chat if you think her therapist is white. Put a 2 in the chat if you think her therapist is black. That's how bad it is. I can't make it up. Don't come at me sideways. Put a 1 in the chat if you think her therapist is white. Put a 2 in the chat if you think her therapist is black. And the reason why she needs a black therapist is because she needs to unpack. She needs someone. She needs to actually see a therapist that is a woman. She's Nigerian. She's an immigrant Nigerian. Maybe first generation American Nigerian. And she needs someone that matches her identity. I'm being so for real. She needs someone that matches her identity so that they can unpack the imperialism. They can unpack the internalized colonism, the mentality. And she needs someone that can unpack these things. Also, do I believe she most likely was bullied as a child? Most likely. I've heard first generation Nigerian American bully stories. So I feel like that's at play here. She needs someone that can really understand her, and she needs someone that mirrors her identity so that she can truly get the help that she needs. And I'm being for real because there's still some red flags coming off of her. Like she really hasn't learned from this situation. And it's just based off of how she told the story. Like she still can't wrap her head around that this man is a con, and it's just a lot that she needs to work on. There's a lot that she needs to unpack. Seriously.
I hate with hate, so I'm just gonna end this video saying let's all do better. Let's practice empathy. Let's practice love. And if you're a victim out there, just know that your voice deserves to be heard.
Now listen, some things I didn't agree with. I saw that black women were dragging her about her tucking her braids behind her ear. I didn't like that. I don't know why black women attack another black woman when it comes to her just being different, especially when it comes to her appearance. Because when you attack another black woman when it comes to her appearance, you're attacking yourself. If you notice, I talk about black women or women in general when it comes to their behavior. Yes, I will label your behavior bird behavior. I will. But I would never say you look like a bird because I'm like, well, damn, if you look like a bird, then I guess I look like a damn bird because we both black. You get what I'm saying? I mean, keep it real. Like, if it's okay to call out their behavior and label it bird behavior because it is what it is, but I would never, 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 never attack her appearance and her looks. As soon as you attack a black woman and her appearance and her looks, you are attacking yourself. Okay? When that black woman goes out into society, they see a black woman. That's what they see. So when you attack her appearance and all that, I didn't agree with that. People are making fun of how she tucks her braids behind her ear, and that just further leads into how she most likely was bullied, how it most likely played a part into why she has this colonialism mentality, why she tends to associate herself with the whole proximity to whiteness. It's because y'all are attacking her braids behind her ear, y'all. That's childish. Call out her behavior. Absolutely. But as soon as you start to nitpick and all of that stuff, that just it reiterates that she most likely was bullied growing up for being different. Like honestly. And I hate seeing that. I hate seeing that we do that to black women that are just simply different. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got. I just hope that what you learned from this cautionary story from TikTok is that you need to vet people. Fast-tracked romance, it doesn't allow you to deeply vet. If someone walks into your life and they start to override your inner voice, your inner guidance, your inner compass, your connection with God, that's a red flag. That's spiritual discernment that may not be physical. That's very spiritual. And that's something that you have to tap in when it comes to yourself. Then also check on your self-worth. Do you feel worthy of being cared for, taken care of? Do you feel like you are worthy of those things? And if you feel like you're not worthy of those things, why? Why? Why do you not feel worthy of having higher standards? Higher standards only exposes you to quality experiences. And that's what it's about. It's about being in safe environments. It's about being in clean environments. It's about being in environments that you truly feel worthy of. But if you don't feel like you're worthy of being in those environments, why? Do you need to work on yourself? Do we need to make some improvements? Do we need to level up? Let's unpack that. Let's also unpack the fact that two things can be true. She could be a victim and she could be stupid. I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, in this world that we live in, we should be able to be stupid and dumb and naive because we lack experience, right? We should be able to be stupid and dumb and naive and not be taken advantage of. That is just not the world that we live in. So I feel like people are being harder on her because of that. But remember when you didn't have experience? Remember when you were still trying to figure it out? That's the grace that I'm giving her. So I've been dumb. I've been naive. Hell, I've even been gullible. I tell the story how that one man was trying to sell me that necklace and he was like, I'll sell it to you for $80. It was a gold necklace. And I was like, $80? And he knew I wasn't going. Then he was like, all right, I'll sell it to you for 40. I said, 40? I'll take it. Got home. I wore that necklace daily. This man hustled me right outside of a Family Dollar and got home and was showering in it daily because I loved it so much. Girl, it started turning my neck green. So it's like, if you've never had those experiences, okay. All right. But some of us have. Like, and it was because we were young and we were naive and we truly didn't know better. And I think that this was her experience. I really do think it was her experience. So she's learning. Okay. It's sad that her family couldn't have helped her out. Family could have gave her some tips, but it seems like they were just as naive. Hell. So that's pretty much all I have for this video. Y'all give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. What did you learn from this situation? Any spiritual tips? Any, I don't know, tips to help other women when it comes to the vetting process? Just let me know. Comment down below, and I'll catch you in my next one.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.